You're listening to the Escape into Gaming podcast with your host, Nathan, aka Kilnieth. Join us as we explore escapism into the various weird and wonderful worlds of video games. Whether it's something immersive and first person, or something deep and strategic, we will be escaping boredom, stress, pain, and pressure with dragons, racing, space, and sneaking. And without further ado, let's get started.
Hello and welcome to episode 8 of the Escape into Gaming podcast, where we explore and deep dive into escapism within video games. Just before we get started, if you do enjoy these episodes, please do consider supporting the podcast on Patreon, as that helps ensure that I can keep it ad-free. And you get access to episodes a week in advance, and there are also Patreon exclusive posts on there. And if you can't support the podcast financially, consider liking, subscribing and commenting on YouTube, as every bit of interaction lets YouTube know that it's content worth promoting to other people, so it could help other people discover the podcast as well. And with that out of the way, in today's episode, we're going to be donning our Mjolnir power armor and diving into the world, or more accurately ringworlds, of Halo. And I'm very excited to announce that for this episode, we have our very first guest, BTechnician. Hello, BTech, how are you doing?
Absolutely wonderful, Kilnia. Thank you so much for having me onto your podcast. It is an absolute privilege to be here, and I couldn't tell you how tickled pink I am to be asked to join your podcast. Thank you so much, man.
Hey, thank you for being here. I've been really excited to do this, and I know that Halo is one of the biggest kind of franchises that you have a lot of interest in. So when you said you're up for it, that was absolutely amazing. Do you want to tell the listeners a little bit about yourself? Maybe introduce yourself a little bit.
Oh, sure, why not? My name is BTechnician, or you can call me Brent. It don't matter to me. I am an inspiring voice actor who loves to give a voice to all sorts of little characters. My shtick is I love to give a voice to the voiceless protagonist. Currently doing Hollow Knight Silksong run. Just got done with the Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon. Absolutely wonderful game. But the one game who has a silent protagonist who I am excited to start role-playing and kind of diving into that world is Halo. Always known for its silent protagonist, so that's one that I hold near and dear to my heart. I'm super excited to be here. Thank you so much, man.
No, thank you once more. And you have done some of the voice acting in Halo. You and was it Kellogg or Itchy? I can't remember, on your Twitch streams recently, haven't you?
Yep, that's my buddy Itchy. He has shown so much enthusiasm into this. He's actually one of the driving forces behind the Halo streams that I'm doing, creating dialogue, putting us into scenarios. It's been really fun to kind of dive into that world.
That is absolutely awesome, and I've really enjoyed watching your streams. So for just for anybody listening, BTechnician did also do the introduction to this podcast, and he's done voiceovers of many characters in his streams, so please do check out his stuff. I will put a link to his Twitch and YouTube and Fiverr in the description of this episode. Do check him out. And this is our first episode together, and the first ever episode with a guest, so please do excuse us for any scuffed moments.
Absolutely. Like we said in the beginning, this will be the worst one. Everything from here is going to get better.
Absolutely. So the game we're primarily going to be focusing on today is actually your favourite in the series, isn't it, Brent?
The Halo Reach. You know what? I'm going to have to go ahead and say that there is a hard closeness to which one in the Halo series is my favorite. But yeah, the Halo Reach one, that's definitely one that resonates in my heart with, just the message behind it and the lore and the environment of which they place you in the Halo series. I mean, the close one is ODST. I'm just going to go ahead and say that one right now. But Halo Reach.
Yeah. I was going to suggest that it's probably kind of tied between ODST and Reach, because I think both of them are the ones where the story, like the individual character's story, kind of takes a forefront.
100%. I mean, we've been used to being the big old green guy for a long time. So when they put you in the suit of a different guy, it definitely feels and the story kind of resonates differently in your mind. 'Cause
Yeah.
we're not Chief anymore. We're somebody else. And that's impactful.
Yeah, absolutely. So we normally like to start these episodes out going over some of the development background and history behind the games.
Oh boy.
So Halo Reach itself was actually released in 2010 for the Xbox 360, which feels like forever ago now.
Mm-hmm.
It was the 5th game that Bungie developed. There was also Halo Wars, but that's a different team, so we won't count that for now. And
that's a different podcast.
Yeah. And as far as the timeline is concerned, this is also the earliest in the timeline as far as Bungie developed games goes, because this acts as a prequel to Halo 1, which is really cool. And it was around this time that Bungie was actually ending their relationship with Microsoft. ODST and Reach were like the last two, I don't want to say tick box exercises, but it was a case of we need to get 2 more games out and then we can bugger off away from Microsoft. So
I always kind of viewed them as a crappy goodbye letter.
Well, yeah, except they ended up being the best possible goodbye letter though, didn't they?
I know. Really was.
Yeah, it's insane. And it's funny because like Bungie arguably transformed first-person shooters as far as like console FPS games were concerned with the very first Halo. So to go out with an absolute bang with Halo Reach is just like absolutely badass of them, essentially.
Yeah.
And the games have always been really interesting because I don't play many first-person shooters. You know, the last time I played Call of Duty was on the PlayStation 1, and that was Call of Duty 1 or 2, I think. And oh no, I'm thinking Medal of Honor actually. I think it was Medal of Honor Underground on the PS1. I remember that one. But I didn't play many FPS games. But when I first saw Halo, which we'll come on to in a little bit, that was like a series that grabbed me because there's such a degree of flexibility in how you approach each and every encounter, like which weapons you have, what vehicles you've got, and it's got this kind of strategic layer to the combat because like Covenant weapons work better against shields, whereas the human weapons work better against health and stuff. So yeah, it's always been a bit a different one as far as FPS games are concerned, in my opinion at least.
Oh yeah, no, they definitely rewrote some of the scripts on how we're completely used to first-person shooters at that time.
Absolutely. So which Halo game did you actually start with?
Oh, I started from the dawn of time. Combat Evolved.
Nice.
I saw my cousin. He came up. I moved away from where I was. And when I came to this new town, I finally met my cousin for the first time. And I was a PlayStation guy through and through. Crash Bandicoot till the death. And he had this new green and black box that I was very intrigued by. And once he booted that up, I was introduced to the wonderful sounds of that Bungie intro, that guitar just wailing, and then slapped into the boots of the green guy. And honestly, I fell in love at first sight, hands down.
Yeah, I think many people did the first time they saw it. Like, it's kind of memed on now a little bit, like the whole green guy in space armor, you know, fighting aliens and stuff like that. It is almost a meme, but it's weird to look at like how different a game it was back then when it originally came out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad you started with Combat Evolved because I did as well. I can't remember exactly when it was, but at one point my family went on this kind of day out trip to a fancy estate, and it was like this manor house, and I really can't remember what was going on, but there were lots of tents, there were lots of things going on. There were like a human-sized chessboard and old wooden spinning tops and toys and stuff like that. And when we were leaving, there were a bunch of tents and stalls that one of them we went into was actually, it turns out, a recruitment tent for the British Army.
Oh my god. Are you about to tell me they used this game in a recruitment center?
They did, yeah. Like, I don't know if my parents were taking me in there to try and push me in that kind of direction or something to get rid of me. But we ended up going in the tent, and there's a lot of army guys all standing around with the green kind of outfits on and berets and stuff. And some of them are sat around this CRT TV, And like you said with your friend, there was this weird box with a bit of green on it with a weirdly huge controller that I'd never seen before plugged into it.
Oh, yeah.
And we were the only people in the tent at the time, and one of the soldiers said, "Oh, do you fancy a round?" And I'm like, well, I like video games, I'm not going to say no. And it turns out they were playing Halo Combat Evolved on the original Xbox, and they were doing Capture the Flag in Blood Gulch, which is an absolutely iconic multiplayer map. I remember my team winning the match, although I'm pretty sure the soldiers were probably going pretty easy on me, being a kid. But yeah, it was the first time I'd even heard of an Xbox or seen anything to do with Halo. So I remember the first thing I did when I got home was, do a bit of Googling. And I think the PC demo was out at the time, so I downloaded the Silent Cartographer demo, and I just knew at that point I had to get the game.
100%. Honestly, my moment was that first crash down in the campaign where you're leaving the ship and you're hitting the Halo for the first time. That moment of just intensity when I saw my cousin do it, I was like, oh, this game is serious. Because nothing has ever put you in a situation, well, in my eyes, because honestly, like I said, I was a PlayStation guy. I came from Spyro and Crash Bandicoot to Halo. And so that was a huge difference in gameplay and just the seriousness of the situation. I don't know, it resonated with my little boy brain, and it had its claws in me, man. From that point on, I was like, I have to figure out what happens after the ship lands, because again, it was my cousins. I wasn't there all day, so there was a cliffhanger, if you will, of what I wanted to see.
Yeah, you had to know what happened next.
100%. Because I never even touched the multiplayer. The only time I touched multiplayer was Halo Reach. That was my first multiplayer experience.
Yeah, my only multiplayer experience was recently with the Master Chief Collection.
Oh, no way, you lucky dog.
But yeah, fast forward to 2010, and we've now got what was at the time the final Halo game, or so it appeared to be at the time. And Bungie were absolutely determined to leave us with their magnum opus, Halo Reach. Halo Reach opens up with a scene of the planet Reach, burning and scarred. The camera pans in, zooming into a desolate plain where smoke settles in on the horizon, and in the distance you can see a pair of mountains framing our scene, and there's a Spartan helmet lying cracked in the middle. This scene is immediately powerful and impactful, and it kind of sets the scene for the whole game of Reach. You're kind of asking yourself, what happened here? Why is... I mean, hopefully you twig on that it's your Spartan helmet, but you're asking yourself, why is that there? And it's a scene that also resonated with you, didn't it, Brent?
Oh, man, absolutely, because we were always viewing the Spartan as this unkillable tank, this image of what a human is that is completely unstoppable. And within the first few frames of the game, it's like, hey, no, Spartans are stoppable. And it'll lead you to the question, well, how did this helmet get here? Why is it cracked? And another small detail that I absolutely love about the franchise, if you replay that game wearing a different helmet, it will actually use the helmet of which you're playing with.
Yeah. So
you can put all the customizations and it will still put it on there. I thought that was such a cool detail, and it resonates so hard because it's not just a random helmet that's laying there. It's your helmet that's laying there. And that's so impactful. It hits so many different notes.
Yeah, and as the camera pans into it, and you're probably scratching your head thinking, what happened? Why am I dead already? I've only just started the game. It just
why am I dead already?
Yeah, but then it just instantly flicks to that same helmet intact and in your hands as you're in the Warthog heading over to Noble Team's camp.
Yeah. Oh my God, when he's sitting there staring down at the helmet. And you think for a second, I'm actually going to see the face of this protagonist. Nope.
Yeah, you don't see many faces. Although actually, no. In this game, in Reach and ODST, actually, you do see the faces of quite a few of the people with helmets on.
Which was completely, like, that alone was a huge moment to see the human behind the Spartan, because it's easy to kind of just think of these Spartans as like robots. They kind of look the part, but to really get that emotional connection with the character, that's why this game hits so hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of emotional connection, the next scene we get is arriving at Noble Team's camp, and we get a kind of visual introduction to each of the members that make up Noble Team. So as we start walking through the tent, Kat holds out her robotic arm to stop us from going in and notifies Carter that we've arrived. We see Emil sharpening his knife that he loves to carry and play around with, and he's got the like skull pattern on his helmet and everything. I think we do see George as well, and then it pans over to Carter because he's doing the briefing stuff with Colonel Holland, isn't there? And yeah, the first thing we hear from Carter when he's leading us all to head to his first mission is that he's read his file. We're absolutely amazing. We're an absolute badass, but no more of that lone wolf stuff. We are filling in some boots that the other members would rather leave unfilled, because Noble Team's actually lost a member, so we are their replacement. And you can imagine a team that's been working together for so long and having those relationships, having a newcomer come in is a bit unsettling, really.
I mean, we've all kind of been in that situation where you come into the room and you're there for reasons that not everybody is happy with, so you automatically get that disdain of, oh, I'm the odd one out, no one's really going to treat me fair, or what's another word, politely.
Yeah.
So that definitely is a feeling that us as humans have been aware of. So for them to just automatically place you into that emotion, that feeling of you're an outsider. And let's also keep in mind, it's funny that they say no more of that lone wolf stuff. Halo 1, 2, and 3, we were alone the whole time.
Yeah, like no more are we the one Spartan that everything hinges on. We are now part of a team.
Yeah.
Listen up, Noble Team. We're looking at a downed relay outpost 50 clicks from Visegrad. We're going to introduce ourselves to whoever took it out, and then Kat's going to get it back online.
Get me under the hood, Commander.
So why would rebels want to cut off reach from the rest of the colonies?
You got a chance, maybe you can ask him, George.
Commander, we just lost our signal with HQ.
Backup channels?
Searching. Nada. Can't say what's jamming us.
You heard her. Dead zone confirmed. Command will not be keeping us company this trip.
I'm lonely already.
So we are given a briefing from Colonel Holland. We are going to do an investigation into attack on a relay station that has kind of cut off all the communication for an area on Reach. Command is suspecting that it may be rebels that are fighting against us, and we kind of introduced to the area. We get a nice dynamic shot as we pan around in the Hornets and set down, and then we search for a distress beacon.
Yeah, that was, I'm not gonna lie to you, when I first played the game I was like, wait, am I really about to be firing against other human NPCs? Because besides dealing with the flood, that would have been the first time that we attack another human. And I was on the edge of my seat. Like, I was very, what's the word? Just very disjointed from that, because obviously we come from fighting aliens the entire time. How is it going to be shooting humans? So that had me pushing forward, like, okay, what are they going to do here? Like, what's the change up gonna be like? Yeah,
and again, with this being a prequel as well, you kind of sat thinking, oh, well, maybe we're not fighting the Covenant, maybe we're not fighting aliens in this one, maybe the planet fell to bits because of some rebels that took over or something like that. So it's definitely an interesting change of the dynamic.
Definitely, and I think it shows the side of why Spartans were hated by humans sometimes, because we were just these big old bullies, as you see in that segment, how they talk to some survivors who they're trying to get some information from. We're very militant, and they're very standoffish from Spartans, which, I mean, if you could put your feet in their shoes, I kind of would understand that. This 7-foot armored human being very aggressive to me.
Yeah. But yeah, we set down and we search for the distress beacon.
Found the beacon. Make out any ID?
Negative, but it's military.
So where are the troopers?
Why are we not seeing explosives residue?
Noble 3, can you confirm any EX residue in the area?
Negative, sir.
Plasma, maybe.
Can't be. Not on reach.
There's a lot of blood on the ground. All right, Noble, looks like there's nothing here. Let's move on.
So once we find the distress beacon, all of the Noble team are kind of wondering where the troopers might be, because there's a damaged warthog there, and they ask if there's any signs of explosives residue or anything like that, and Emil says that there's plenty of blood and that the damage might be plasma burns.
Yeah, that was a part that went over my head as a young human. I was like, yeah, plasma burns, it's how things explode. Move on. I didn't realize how much of a dun 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 moment that was.
Yeah, it's scary, and especially when George follows it up by saying can't be, not on reach. Like the humanity has been attacked by the Covenant by this point, and as far as I'm aware, near enough every encounter has been, the humans have lost. So for there to be the potential of, hold on, somebody's attacking us with plasma weaponry is a bit of a scary thought.
Oh yeah, no, I could only imagine fighting this war that's not even on your planet, and then suddenly there's traces of that war because Reach was their home planet. Like, this was their final stand, and to have evidence of that on your final, like, it's on the 10-yard line in a football game. So I could understand the anxiety that would come from that.
Yeah. So as we continue our kind of investigation at this stage, we head into a nearby building and detect some heat signatures in one of them. So we head further on and find a group of civilians that are sheltering inside.
Noble leader, I'm seeing heat sigs in the structure ahead.
Move! On your knees, now!
They're not rebels, they're farmers. Look at them.
Ask them what they're doing here.
Hiding, sir. Neighbors were attacked last night. He heard screams. Gunfire. Stopped around sunrise. Says something in the fields killed his son.
Something.
Commander, be advised, I'm reading heat signatures and that structure's directly east of your position. Over.
Copy that. Get them back inside.
The farmer says something in the fields killed his son. Almost horror-like. And that's kind of the first sense, besides the flood, that we kind of got this horror aspect that is in the Halo series. But we as a player know that it's the Covenant. Of course it is. It's a Halo game. Like, what is the other bad guy gonna be? But the uncertainty in Noble Team's members really sells how much they don't want it to be the Covenant, which makes sense. They're on their home turf. They can't be the Covenant. Let it just be the rebels.
Damn.
Fill me in, Commander. What are you seeing? Over.
We've got military casualties, 2 of the missing troopers. Looks like they were interrogated. It's messy. Watch your motion trackers.
What the hell is that?
June, you see anything?
Negative. Thermal's clean.
So as we head further into the buildings, our radar kind of goes off. We see a red dot on it, and it reminds me a lot of the Alien films and games, where you've got that motion tracker. Yeah. Well, it is entirely Aliens, isn't it? Because you as the player are sat there like, right, we know the Covenant's attacked, we're going to be fighting them soon, but you don't know when it's going to happen. So you go in this building and there's 2 soldiers pinned to the wall that have been interrogated by them, and then all you get is a bit of radar movement and everybody going like, what the heck was that? Did you hear anything? I think, doesn't June's in one of the Hornets as well, and he says like, oh, I'm not picking up anything on the scans. So you're like questioning your equipment almost. You're like, did I actually see that ping?
Yeah, no, that was a big moment, and especially just to go back onto the 2 soldiers being pinned. They're not only just pinned, but they're pinned like a foot off the ground. Like something really got up there, and they're like, a normal human isn't that tall. So how'd they get up that high? How'd they get pinned? And all the surrounding areas is there also, I'm pretty sure it was civilians. There's unfortunately deceased civilians also in that same scene. So it got the soldiers and the civilians, and rebels don't just kill civilians.
Yeah.
So that it's a huge lead up to, okay, here we go. We're all getting the confirmation. It's Covenant, all the things. But when Emil, the one in the Hornet, says that he can't find anything on the scanners, but we're getting a blip on our radar, that's when my brain started to be like, oh, is this going to be a new enemy? Are we getting a new type of Covenant, one that's in a more stealth variant? And sure as Shiza, we did. The little, it's slipping my name. I think it's Jackals.
The
Skirmishers.
Skirmishers, yeah.
Yep. They are cousins of the Jackals.
Yeah. And as we head off into the next building, we're talking about maybe 5-10 minutes into the game at this part. There's been no contact. There's just been this suspense building and this mystery of what's gone on. But in the next building, outside the windows, we finally see them. It is the Covenant. They are here.
Boss, I see movement outside your structure.
Noble 2, move up to the west. We're about to be flanked. Contact! Assist!
Here we go.
They're headed into the basement. Move down to the lower level. Pour it on. Fast movers, slow them down.
And this being your first introduction finally into the Covenant, breaking that mystery on what is this, we're introduced with new firearms, new Covenant characters like the Skirmisher. We've never seen that guy. I mean, possibly in lore somewhere we've heard of the Skirmishers, but as a player, this was our first introduction. And I think, excuse me, and it was our first introduction to the Needler rifle as well. So we're in a new game, new area, suspense, a new enemy, and a new weapon firing at us. So all that for the first time was a very chaotic, and they did that justice, introducing the player in this very chaotic. It wasn't just grunts with plasma pistols again. No, it was something different. And so I think they really nailed that introduction.
Yeah, and I think you hit a good point there, actually, because the characters themselves, like Noble Team, are going to be kind of, adrenaline's going to hit and they're going to start being a bit chaotic because it's their kind of, probably their first encounter with the Covenant, potentially. Like, if they've been dealing with all these rebels all over the shop, this is potentially their first engagement with Covenant, and as players, we're seeing skirmishers for the first time, and like you say, the Needler rifle and all these new stuff as well. We've got
100%.
Even if you've got past knowledge of Halo games and what weapon's good against what enemy, you're having to dynamically adjust to that and have that kind of combat panic, kind of disjointed. I'm not sure what I need to do to be effective here moment. And also, it's the first time we're playing in a squad with other Spartans, so you can kind of bounce off of their competence a little bit. You'll hear like all the other characters saying, incoming Banshees, or enemy over there, taking enemy fire and stuff like that. And it's funny as well where you get elements of their personality shining through, especially when George, he's like, yeah, I live for this.
George is always one of my favorite characters. Just this badass with a giant gun.
Yeah, badass with a giant gun and a giant heart, as we find out later. But yeah, as we fight a few more squads of Covenant, eventually Carter commands that Emil and Kat should check out the relay base itself, whilst we remain on the ground looking for any other survivors, any other signs of attack. So we end up splitting up the team at this part, and it's you, the player, and George and Carter taking on a vehicle and heading off.
Commander, I'm seeing more hostile activity to the northeast.
Emil, you're with Kat. 6 and I will run interference on the ground. We'll meet you at the outpost.
Number 3, requesting airlift.
Get to work, Noble.
And as we split apart from the team, we kind of develop, Alpha 1 and Alpha 2, where we are the team on the ground, where it's just Noble 6, Carter, and George, a very small team. But what you come across is just this civilian vehicle. Doesn't really look much of a getaway car. But the fact that they have it to where as soon as George hops onto the back of that thing, he slaps down his giant minigun on the roof, and it essentially turns into a Warthog. In that moment, I was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah, just converted a civilian pickup truck into a military vehicle by slapping a machine gun on the top of it.
Classic Twisted Metal.
Yeah, it's super badass. And then you go on this driving kind of bit as you're exploring around looking for more sites of Covenant attack. And one thing I really noticed when I was replaying that first mission for this episode is that the sound design in this game is absolutely fantastic. Like, every single sound on the battlefield tells you something. You can hear when a needler rifle goes off, you know it's a needler rifle, or when your shields are low or charging, you hear that going on, or even when you've narrowly been avoided getting exploded by a plasma grenade.
That was always something that you don't notice as a young child, how great the music is and the sound is, and when everything harmonizes together, it paints this beautiful, beautiful picture. And who could ever forget the lovely sound of
yeah, as your shields recharge.
Mm-hmm.
But like, even in this very first mission, I think it really just shows how far Bungie have come in terms of their overall presentation, because we're still talking about an Xbox 360 game here, but the graphics were really sharpened over Halo 3. Like, everything looks super, super nice. And the sound design and even the narrative structure of these missions, like, they are telling a story of this initial chaos, this initial panic and worry because we've now met the Covenant. And as you're going through the mission, as you move from place to place, the sound will the music teeters down and calms down a little bit. But as soon as you start a combat engagement, it will build up into these huge crescendos as you're, fighting for your life, essentially. Like, every engagement with the Covenant is fighting for your life. So as the situation evolves, the music evolves and the setting evolves, and it's just, it's so good.
Yeah, they did such a wonderful job.
Yeah, and it's like that difference between traditional games that have cutscenes, like this game does have cutscenes, but Half-Life 1, I think, was one of the first game where everything was done in-engine during real time, and there are elements of Halo Reach's story that happens during these bits as well. Like, instead of every single bit that needs to happen, like when Kat and Emil go off in the other Hornet, that could have been a cutscene, but instead it's something that happens dynamically. Like the Hornet comes down, they go and sit on it and bugger off while you're off. It makes you feel like you're part of everything that's happening.
Yeah, and I think that's a really important thing to kind of... Okay, we can't have all these cutscenes because then it really just takes the player out and becomes a movie. But to find that balance of what's cutscene appropriate, what can we just do in front of the player, I think they really struck a good balance of that.
Boss, we're picking up a distress signal.
Mayday, 3 Charlie 6. Does anyone read? We were attacked by Covenant forces. The Covenant is on reach. I repeat, the Covenant is on reach.
The troopers?
Let's move, 6. We gotta find the source of that distress call.
No disrespect, but don't we have more important things to do than round up strays?
You don't leave people behind. You see those troopers, you let me know.
Eventually, we will receive a distress call from a group of soldiers that are actively coming under Covenant attack. And it's really interesting here because June says, with respect, don't we have better things to do than pick up strays? To which Carter replies, we don't leave people behind. And it's such a cool, way of highlighting their differing personalities. Like, June is very to the point, I want to get the mission done kind of person, where Carter cares about people. He doesn't want to see soldiers getting left behind and killed by the Covenant.
which does show this kind of empathic human side of Spartans, because we are just, and I say we as in Spartans because you play as a Spartan, but we are essentially just these robotic soldiers. Do the mission, get the mission done at all cost. So it's wonderful to see this kind of, they have personalities.
Yeah, and I wonder actually, now that I know a little bit more about Halo lore, I wonder if that's leaning into the different versions of Spartans, because you've got like all the Spartan 1s, the Spartan 2s, 3s and 4s, etc. I wonder if perhaps that's an element where June is a different generation to Carter, perhaps?
Maybe, perhaps. Another thing I do believe some versions of Spartans literally have an implant inside of them to completely remove the sense of like Carter doesn't seem to have his chip in because it says we don't leave people behind, when a computer Spartan would just be like, no, we have mission, this is our directory, do this.
yeah no, that's a very good point actually. That's further reading for the listener if you want to look into that. But yeah, once we get to these troopers, we've got a little bit of like a defense segment in the mission as we try to hold off the Covenant and await evac. And once our evac does arrive, they take us to meet up with Emil and Kat at the relay facility for a rather hot landing.
I've got visual.
Approaching the comm outpost.
Drop us in the courtyard.
LZ's a little hot, sir.
Put her down, pilot. 6, breaks over.
This is an absolutely beautiful segment, and I mean that in a really weird way actually. It's just how the music builds as you start to land and you have to clear out this courtyard. You are literally being dropped off into this chaotic battlefield with Covenant all over the place, and our goal is to buy Cat time so that she can lock the doors once we're inside the facility. And I just have to highlight again like how fluid and cinematically it's all done, because you've got in the Hornet, you've flown over, not as part of a cutscene. You can move your camera around and look around all the scenery of the Visegrad region and stuff. And then before you set foot in that courtyard, you're kind of looking down and seeing all the Covenant running around down there, and you're kind of probably thinking, oh god, am I being dropped off there?
Definitely a hot zone.
Definitely a hot zone. And it feels like the climax of the mission really at that bit, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean we're kind of engaging the enemy, from the outside, kind of going into them. This is our first time we're like, no, you were just dropped into the hellfire, and kind of got it like this panicky, intense moment of trying to clear out and reunite with your team that you've been separate for a segment of the mission. So it's like this reuniting with your stronger forces, but then having to take on even a stronger force, which in this fight is our first introduction to this energy sword in this game. So it really kind of, encompasses this whole anxiety, chaotic into the battle, regrouping with your team, feeling like you're a stronger platoon, to then immediately just getting met with this elite with an energy sword. And those guys are ruthless.
Yeah. Speaking of the elite with the energy sword, like once we fight off the guys in the courtyard and manage to get the doors closed, that's very much a sigh of relief almost. And as we head inside the facility itself, we find a body laying on the floor, and we learn that there are in fact survivors.
Can't see a thing. Noble 6, turn on your night vision.
Number 6, search that body.
Where's the rest of your unit?
We got split. I don't think it sounded bad on the comms.
All right, Corporal. Stay put. We'll get you a combat surgeon.
Damn. Plasma damage.
Found something.
I'll take that, 6. Not your domain.
I got a live one over here. Come on. Out you come. It's all right. We're not gonna hurt you.
George.
I got her. Keep still, and I'll release you.
What's the status? Over!
We've been engaged! Bad guy coming out!
That Tango group has permission to pursue.
Negative, 4. Stay on the entrance. 2. Handle her. 5 and 6. Clear the hole.
This is such a badass cutscene. You get this awesome guitar riff running along as the elite zealots arrive, almost ending your career like right there and then because you have a plasma sword essentially shoved in your face. And the music just pushes us to press on and clear out this last set of enemies as they've ran further into the facility. And we actually do this section alongside George as well, who happens to be wielding a minigun, which is incredibly helpful.
Yeah, and especially since they kind of push us into the scene of it being dark. This is when we kind of get told, hey, you have night vision. You can kind of use this in a combat. And combined with the dark area with George just wailing down on that minigun and the flashes of his muzzle of the barrel, it paints such a beautiful, beautiful picture. Like, I'm sitting here reliving it in my brain. And what a change up from fighting outside in the clear. Well, it's gray skies, but it's got that daylight-esque to it, to then in a tunnel, dark, using your night vision with George, just the flash resonating off the walls. It's so good.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not the hardest combat encounter in the game, but you are kind of finishing off the tail end of the mission. You get into that last room where there's those 4 like server racks in the middle. You can look at it and tell this is an arena. Something's going to happen here, and as it happens, there are 2 elites, one with the energy sword and one with the new, I can't remember what it's called now, the thing that shoots big explodey plasma ball things.
Yeah, the pink exploding plasma balls. It escapes my name as well. It escapes my brain as well.
Yeah, it's probably called a plasma launcher or something like that, honestly. I guess. But yeah, once we clear out the enemies, we reset a breaker and complete the mission, finally being able to contact headquarters.
Local 5 reporting. Targets neutralized.
Cat needs you to reset a junction. Do it and get back here. How long?
Question of my life. If the question is, when will the station be back online? 2 weeks, earliest. This is plasma damage. All major uplink components are fried.
2 minutes is too long.
Which is why I'm splicing into the main overland bundle to get you a direct line to Colonel Holland. You're in my light, Commander.
Find out what she knows.
What's your name? Do you live around here? I'm George.
Shada.
Shada? C'est pas rozumiew. Your accent sounds familiar. Shapron?
Tangari.
Friend of yours?
Father.
Sha'inalong. I'm sorry.
Why would you be?
Big man forgets what he is sometimes.
She just lost her father. She needs a full psychiatric workup.
She's not the only one.
Lock it down, both of you. Get her on her feet. The body stays here.
Thank you, sir.
Signal. It's patchy, but it's there.
I'll take it.
Let's not touch anything. You wouldn't want to ground this place.
Barely
Getting you. What's your situation? Over?
Colonel, this is Noble 1. There are no rebels. The Covenant are on Reach. Acknowledge?
Come again, Noble 1. Did you say Covenant?
Affirmative. It's the Winter Contingency.
May God help us all.
I love how the commander ends this cutscene engagement off with "May God help us all." It just highlights the threat that the Covenant pose to, not only just Reach but all of humanity. Because at this point, humanity is just getting beat, and they just can't defend themselves against the Covenant.
Yeah, I mean, once you kind of figure out how large the Covenant is and how massive they are, like, it's literally, I think it's 1 to 10. That's how much the Covenant outnumber the humanity. Obviously, people check my sources, but I'm pretty sure that's how large of an overwhelming force that it is.
Yeah, and they're also, like, it is a fact that they are technologically superior to humanity as well, because we've only just started kind of producing Spartan soldiers in the Mjolnir armor with reverse engineered shield systems taken from the Covenant. And I think, especially with this being the planet Reach as well, it's a really important planet to the UNSC and humanity, because we've got huge shipyards there and the actual Spartan training facilities themselves. Spartans are essentially the one thing that have ever so slightly been turning the tide of the war.
Yeah, but the research behind to get the Spartans is also met with a huge disagreement, I would say, to put it lightly.
Yeah, it's seen as this kind of, I mean, if you read into the backstory and everything, which is in, like, the books and stuff, it's children that have been taken from their parents and, indoctrinated to become Spartans and everything. So it is creepy.
Kind of messed up too.
Yeah. But the way Reach presents its story, I find it super interesting. Like, I don't think, for most people, Halo is a particularly story-focused franchise, like especially Halo 1 and maybe 2. You've got story beats, you've got important things going on, but the series as a whole kind of focused on this more epic story, whereas as they progressed into Halo 3, we start to see more storytelling in terms of the actual threat that humanity faces, because obviously Earth comes under attack in 2 and that's escalated in 3. But here on Reach, following, after the storytelling of ODST, we've got this kind of more personal story. We are seeing how it impacts the Noble team themselves and the people who are actually on Reach, even the civilians that we've just encountered on the farm. It's a different form of storytelling, and they've kind of changed up how they mesh the gameplay and the story implementation, I feel.
Oh yeah, no, it is miles of difference on how you were to look at Combat Evolve in Reach and just how they kind of implement it. But I do believe it is our first time where we're seeing all these different avenues, and I think this is why Bungie kind of went out this way. They were like, we want to show all these emotion and these stories that really resonate within the world of Halo, and I honestly wish they did it more. I really wish they did it more.
Yeah, if only Bungie kept hold of Halo. But yeah, closing out this scene, we move on to our second mission, which is Oni Sword Base.
Advised Kilo 3-3 and Kilo 3-4, your current LZ is too hot.
Roger that. Dodge, stand by to receive and respond.
Yes, Commander. Coordinates received. Initiate immediate course correction. The Office of Naval Intelligence Sword Base is presently under siege from a Corvette-class Covenant vessel. Due to the sensitive nature of this facility, use of orbital rounds has been, for the moment, prohibited. Regrettably, my efforts to obtain relevant data on enemy forces have been unsuccessful. However, current defensive forces are insufficient. Oni has requested Team Noble's direct intervention to help secure Sword Base.
Alright, people. We're stuck with that ship for the time being. Let's focus on the hostile infantry. Give those troopers a hand. Cat 6, you're out here. George, Emil, you're next. Get prepped.
Let's move, Lieutenant.
Cat 6, push back the attack on Sword Base. Find out what we're dealing with.
Roger that. Bring your strike team.
Spartans, hostiles north.
Let's knock some heads, Lieutenant.
So the mission Sword Base, we get dropped off in the courtyard of the titular Sword Base, which is currently under a heavy siege from Covenant ground forces, as well as a Covenant carrier that is looming above us in the sky. And we see here that Kat is not just, you know, the tech geek of the squad, but is a really capable combatant herself. And it's really cool at this particular mission, like right at the introduction. I'm sure you can picture it, Brent, but like you've got that middle kind of lower area and two areas up either side. And depending on which path you pick, if you go up the left-hand side to the raised side, Cat will actually go up the opposite side, so that you're both kind of flanking the enemies.
It shows that they actually put the effort, because they can put her on a one track. You go through the middle, Cat goes through the middle. Every time Cat will just take this path. But the fact that they see the player is trying to run a flank, so let's have the other Spartan run the opposite flank. It blows my mind.
Yeah, and the NPC AI in this game is really well thought out. There's multiple instances where, I mean, don't let them drive, is all I'll say, because they are not the best drivers still. But there's so many areas where they will actually try to flank enemies and use actual battlefield tactics that, you know, they're on a level above all of the Marines that you've encountered in the other games.
For sure, definitely.
But yeah, once we clear out the courtyard, we head to a bit of it's like a gatehousey checkpoint structure, and there's a big highlighted ordnance blip on our HUD, and we are introduced to two new pieces of equipment. The first one is we can optionally pick up a new armor ability, which is called Armor Lockup, and I know armor abilities are divisive in the PvP conversation on Reach, but in gameplay they are really, really nice. We started off the game with the ability to sprint, which that was also new to this one, wasn't it?
Yep, that's the first time we got to sprint as a Spartan.
Yeah, and I mean it certainly helps mobility, but armor abilities themselves I think are a really cool addition, because we had the portable kind of droppable ones on Halo 3, like the bubble shield and stuff like that, but this time they're actually like cooldown based, and you have them throughout the mission. You can pick and choose whether you want to be more offensive or more defensive with them, or even having active camo as a button toggle. But the second item we get is the artillery target designator, and yeah, this thing is way too fun for how little you get to use it, I must say.
I know, I was so mad. I was like, oh, well, this is just a cheat sheet for the rest of the game. Nope.
Yeah, 2 shots and you're done. Do we ever see one in the rest of the game? I don't think we do. I think it's just this mission and firefight potentially.
You know what? I think you're right. I'm sitting here trying to rack my brain on what other mission called for that. But I remember it being such a rare weapon that when I was playing it by myself, I would try to get both the wraiths in one shot so I can still have that extra bullet to use it again. But
nice.
I don't think that ever came up. I don't think you ever got to use that second bullet, now that I'm sitting here thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, you could have always unloaded it on random grunts, I suppose.
That's true. That's true.
But yeah, once we're kitted out and optionally healed up, the gateway opens and we're given a wide open area with those 2 Wraith tanks that you just mentioned to deal with, and yeah, that target designator is the perfect way to deal with both of those two. Also, I noticed playing this episode again, playing that chapter for this episode, that section is called "Get the Hell Off My Lawn."
I love Bungie and their little titles to things. They were so clever.
Yeah, they really are. They always make you laugh a bit.
Because that sequence is literally you're opening your front door, and it's the wide open to your front yard, and you got a big old boomstick.
Yeah. But yeah, once we take care of the Wraiths, one of our Pelicans arrives to drop off our very first Warthog, which is an iconic vehicle as far as Halo is concerned.
Oh my god. To elaborate more on how iconic the Warthog is to see the evolution of just that one vehicle in all these games. Because if you look at the Warthog from Halo Combat Evolved and Halo Reach, it's miles difference. Miles. And they really showed love to the Warthog. Sorry, I just had to talk about my favorite vehicle, the Warthog. Once I'm a big old bazillionaire, you bet I'm going to have a Warthog.
Well, I think a few people have actually got them in real life, haven't they? They've ended up making working replicas and stuff like that, or turning up to conventions and stuff in them.
Oh yeah, I'll be hitting them up.
But yeah, in the tradition of almost every second Halo mission ever in any of the games, this one really opens up again, where we're given a vehicle and we're given a choice of multiple objectives that we can approach however we'd like. We can either bring the anti-air turrets back online, or we can re-establish the communications network. And both of the objectives are pretty similar. You head to place, kill Covenant that are taking up position inside, and push button to activate it. But the fact that it's not a case of you must go this way and you must go that way, that's again one of the things I've always loved about Halo. Like that second mission in Combat Evolved, where you're given the Warthog and the big open area and you need to get the 3 sets of soldiers. Bungie likes sprinkling in these elements of player choice to every encounter.
That's such a good point. Oh my god. The similarities between those two. Yeah, you're absolutely right. They both have that segment of, here's a Warthog, now go play. And it does kind of create that sense of, oh, this is an open world-esque, you know? This isn't Grand Theft Auto, but we kind of like to keep it as this big open play base sandbox and let the player kind of decide what they want to do. And you mentioning that, it's so iconic of them. From Combat Evolved to this point right here, the same two formula of a mission. That's wonderful. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, it's something that I've always noticed. I mean, even Halo 2, once you get to the second mission and you're in the city, you get through, Sniper Alley and all that kind of stuff, but there's the segment where you're on the mongooses, where it first introduces the mongoose. That's a bit of an open area again. And Halo 3, I think it's a lot less open, but you've got that bit where you're fighting the scarabs, and you've got a choice of being on a mongoose or a ghost or a warthog and that, and you're going through like the big area where they've collapsed the ground by the Ark.
Yeah. God, I need to play through these games again. It's been too long.
Well, Master Chief Collection exists. But yeah, once we complete as objectives here, we are given the best Warthog, the one that is equipped with a Gauss cannon, and that thing is a real damage dealer. Like, even if you come across a Wraith tank, a couple of rounds from Gauss cannon, it's not going to be a problem anymore.
I mean, the fact that you have the agility of a Warthog and the firepower, albeit less firepower than the Scorpion, but just that pinpoint, it's like a sniper. There's no bullet drop, there's no delay of your shot. You have your target, you click, it hits that target immediately. And to have that kind of accuracy and firepower on a Warthog, bonkers.
Yeah, it is the best Warthog, hands down. But yeah, once we head back to Sword Base, we find that it's once more under attack from even more ground troops, and the Covenant carrier from earlier is positioned itself like right on top of the base, essentially. And before we can get into the base, we have to deal with a new threat. And you can probably tell by my tone that I'm not too happy about it, because we have to deal with a pair of hunters in the garage level of the facility. And hunters to me are a pain in the ass. I still don't think I know the best strategy of dealing with them. And they're super interesting creatures in terms of the design, because they're actually like a collection of worm-like creatures that are combined together to make these huge hulking enemies with heavy armor basically everywhere, and they've got like a few weak points. But yeah, how do you feel about hunters? What are your thoughts on hunters?
Every video game has a boss battle, and in that boss battle you have two major things. You have big wide open arena, and you have health bar. You know what they give you with the hunters? None of those things. You are encased in this small garage with not a whole lot of flanking room, and just these brutes that you cannot get behind. And I think this is the first time where if you were to throw a plasma grenade onto them, it just bounces off. It just won't stick to their armor. And trying to get behind them, once they're hunkered down and they're just looking at you, it's so hard to get behind them, because that's their weak point. You have to get behind them, and if you have a magnum, you can slap them in the back once and you're good to go. I'm joking. I don't know if that was a thing in Reach, but just trying to navigate your way around this giant beast of a thing. And their cannons were brutal. Their swings were massive, because when they did hit you, you would just go flying.
Yep.
There wasn't a knockdown system in Reach, so your character was just kind of pushed away, but man, they would just send you flying. But I think it's a great way to kind of slow the game down in a way, because this whole time we were fighting grunts, elites, jackals, skirmishers, all kind of, for lack of better words, squishy.
Yeah.
But these boys are the opposite of squishy. Just absolute tanks. And I'm not gonna lie to you, the time that I found out that they were just a collection of orange worms really did not settle with me good. I did not like that fact. It was very ugh.
Yeah, a little bit. I think in Reach as well, they vastly improved their defensive capabilities, because I cannot remember them being as much of a problem in Halo 1, 2 or 3. They must have done something to them in Reach, because they do not like you getting behind them.
They are like the best goal defender ever.
Yeah.
And in fact, now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, I went to a hockey game recently, and the goal defender kind of reminds me of a hunter. Just this big burly character, because they have the most gear on them, because they don't move. They're right there. They stay there.
Yeah.
But they keep their front end on that ball. And you know what? Wow. Hold on.
I think you need to ring Microsoft up and make them an offer on Halo Sports, Halo Hockey.
I mean...
But yeah, they are a heck of a challenge, and I think you touched on it there in regards to the combat of Halo, because you have lots of encounters with smaller enemies that you don't exactly blaze through them. It's not like if you're playing it on normal or above difficulty, it's not like it's super easy or anything, but it has this kind of satisfying flow to the combat, because if you're using something high caliber like the sniper rifles or the magnum pistol or even the battle rifle, you can one-shot most enemies. Like, if they're unshielded, a shot to the head's going to take down an elite or a grunt or a jackal or something. And then on the flip side, the enemies that are shielded, you've got the Covenant weaponry that can often eat through that quite readily, but they suck at dealing actual health damage. So you've almost got this chess game where you need to account for what two weapons you're currently carrying, which enemies are on the battlefield, which you can deal with quickly and get out of the way, or maybe there's one of those elites with the plasma explodey ball cannon that we can't remember the name of that we want to focus on and get out of the way. It's really different to most other traditional FPS games, just in that regards, I think, as well.
Yeah, no, they definitely make you really think about what weapon are you using. Because if you just use the assault rifle, you're going to burn through so much ammo trying to eat their shields, and it doesn't have the perception to deal with the jackal shields, so you're just sitting there wasting your ammo. So it's definitely what enemy am I facing? What is in my arsenal? What could I try to strive for? What weapon am I looking for to help me better in this combat? And honestly, nothing is better than a good old plasma pistol and a magnum. That was my go-to all the time, because I love to play this game in Legendary.
Yeah.
Constantly, because I blow through games, man. I just run through them. And it's not a brag on my end by any chance. It's just, I've just been playing video games for a while. So when I set this challenge up and have these abilities, like you said, like a chess game, I know the pieces that I want. So to have that, because every mission, it starts you out with the weapons that they want you to start with.
Yeah.
So then you have to go forward and find your own weapons.
Yeah, and I think the more you play the games, you definitely develop preferences. I mean, I'm glad you said plasma pistol, because when I recently played it, that became my best friend, the plasma pistol, even over the plasma rifle, which I remember I used to like. But now that I'm a bit older and I know that the charge shot can just insta crash an enemy's shields, I love the plasma pistol so much.
I mean, it can take out a shield, it can stun a vehicle. Like, it's the best weapon. But it's the worst weapon. I love how they did that. How it's the grunts weapon. So the grunts are essentially just these pawns you throw into the front of the field to try to whittle down some shields. But in the right hands, it can be a devastating weapon on the battlefield.
Yeah, absolutely. So, once we have dealt with those horrible, horrible hunters in the garage, we take the elevator and enter the sword base proper, and we're notified that we can now recruit Marines into our fire team as we link up with the rest of Noble team. And I've always found it a bit weird how it tells you this. Like, Marines have always followed you in all of the Halo games, but on this one it specifically pops up a little text message saying you can now recruit Marines into your fire team, and they'll show up on your HUD with their name and rank and health and stuff. So I don't know if they were leaning back towards the origins of Halo with this, because Halo was originally going to be a tactical kind of one of those top-down strategy games until it got changed into an FPS game. I don't think it turns into anything. It doesn't really mean anything. It just means you have people's names on your HUD.
Yeah, and honestly, that was such short-lived, because unfortunately, playing in Legendary, those guys were just cannon fodder.
Yeah.
They would go out so quickly in a firefight.
Yeah, I think if you look at what the different difficulties do, it's interesting, because on easy mode, enemies use their worst possible AI in terms of their, what movements they will do and whether they'll avoid damage and stuff, whereas the Marines will be cranked up to like 11. But then if you play on normal, everything's kind of fairly balanced out. But when I was reading up on it, on heroic, that is where everybody starts acting how they kind of should act in terms of battlefield tactics and stuff like that. And then you turn it to Legendary, like you say, and it actually drastically reduces the effectiveness of Marines. So they do unfortunately become cannon fodder.
Just a bunch of nitwits running around.
Yeah. But yeah, the climax of Oni Sword Base has us staring down the Covenant carrier as a bunch of Banshees take shots at us from this big hole that's been blown into the side of the base. And here we're given the super satisfying rocket launcher, which I think only in this game is equipped with homing capabilities. So you can clear out the skies for a couple of longsword jet fighters to paint the cruiser as a target and mark it for the orbital Mac cannons to just smash straight through it and clear the skies.
It's funny that you say this was the first instance where we have the lock-on ability. I kid you not, we did not have lock-on ability in Halo 1. We had the lock-on ability in Halo 2, but they took it out for Halo 3 and put it back in for Halo Reach. I kid you not.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because it decimates multiplayer. It just, there's no sense of driving a vehicle when you can just lock on, boom, done. So they took it out for 3.
Yeah.
But then we put it back in for Reach. It's so weird. I was very, how would you say, stirred up when they took that one away from me.
Riled up by it, yeah.
Riled up, yeah, that's a better one. Thank you.
Yeah, I must admit, like, I don't think I really used a rocket launcher much in Halo 2 when I recently played it, and my most recent playthrough was probably the second time I've played Halo 2, because it's not one that I had before. But yeah, Halo 2, we're probably going to have to talk about Halo 2 at some point in the future.
Oh, we can do a podcast for each one of the games. I'm passionate.
Well, you heard it here first,
also,
folks.
Those for the listeners, apologies if this information that I'm spilling is incorrect. You'll have to forgive me. Maybe we've had lock on the entire time and I was pressing the wrong button.
Well, yeah, that is true. Let us know in the comments if you do know. But yeah, we are then given this mission's ending cutscene, and we meet a somewhat familiar looking and familiar sounding scientist, Dr. Halsey.
Orbital defense is standing by to take the shot.
Beautiful, ain't it? Someone should take a picture. Nice work, by the way.
I aim to please.
5, 6, get down to the science wing. Dr. Halsey wants a debrief and command saying we're all hers.
Repeat? Sounded like you said Halsey.
I did.
Copy that, on our way. Don't need command to tell me. Been all hers half my life.
I requested your assistance, Commander, and do not need a report on events that occur on my own doorstep. What I do require is a detailed account of your previous engagement. George, it's been too long.
Mom.
What have you done with my armor?
Just some additions I've made.
Indeed. Visegrad Relay. Its data center was home to one of my xenoarchaeologists, Professor Laszlo Sorvad. Perhaps you could shed some light on his death.
If he was a civilian male in his mid-60s, he died with a Covenant energy sword through his abdomen.
Elites, then?
They engaged us as well. It was just after we found your scientist's daughter, Mom. She was hiding in the...
Irrelevant. The Elites. Tell me more about them.
3, Zealot class. 1 got bias. The leader, from the looks of him.
Zealots. You're certain?
Their armor configuration matched.
Shield strength, too.
I gave the order not to pursue. Our primary objective was to get the station's relay back online.
Your primary objective? Commander, are you a puppet or a Spartan?
Ma'am?
There are those at Oni, myself included, who believe the Covenant dispatch elite advance teams to hunt down artifacts of value to their religion. Survivor accounts suggests such teams are small, nimble, and almost always Zealot class. No doubt they came to the station for the abundance of Oni excavation data stored there. And you let them get away.
Data retrieval was not a command directive. Even had we known, we had other more urgent matters to attend to.
Like warning the planet.
Professor Sorvad's final entry in his field notes made reference to a latchkey discovery. Latchkey. Not a word he would use lightly. So let's hope that the data module your Lieutenant Commander stole contains it.
Cat?
Before you ask, I was alerted the moment you attempted to access its contents, as I am with any unauthorized tap. That data is classified Tier 1. I could send you to the brig for interfering with my work.
Maybe you'd like to join her.
I'm sorry?
We're currently under emergency planetary directive, Winter Contingency. I'm sure you're familiar with the punishment for civilian interference with the Spartan deployment.
Are you threatening me, Commander?
Just making a reading suggestion, ma'am. Let's move, noble team.
Mom?
That will be all, George.
I've always found this part super interesting, how Dr. Halsey is clearly the origins of Cortana, who has otherwise been our companion throughout every other mainline Halo game. And the way she seems to come across as really cold and calculating and uncaring about, you know, the situation of the Spartans. What are your thoughts on Dr. Halsey, Brent?
Dr. Halsey is always kind of a character that there's like this mystery to it. You know, with all the Halos going, you know, 1, 2, and 3, she's kind of perceived as, you know, the good guy, the guy who created the Spartans, the almighty human that gave us this weapon. But as we go on, we start to learn that Halsey's practices were very brutish and impractical or inhumane. There's the one I want. Inhumane.
Yeah.
And we see this dynamic with them. I mean, also, you know, to relate, to go back onto a little bit of Brent's history, I've always kind of found myself magnetized toward very strong-willed women. I mean, Laura from Tomb Raider, Ripley from the Aliens, these are all very strong women characters, and Halsey definitely fits the bill of that. But when she's talking with the Spartans, we hear George say, "Mom," and that hit so hard for me, because we know Halsey's not his mom, but Halsey, he was probably abducted as a child, and so this is the only source of mother that he's ever had. And for them to put that in there immediately when we start this conversation with her, it really sets the tone of who is this doctor. And her tone is very militaristic, you know what I mean? Like, she just addresses the Spartans.
Yeah.
I don't think her and Carter have a good relationship. I'm pretty sure that's something I sense.
Not Yeah, not when they both threaten to have one another arrested and thrown in the brig.
112%. And that is really highlighting Halsey's not as good as a character as we've always perceived to be. There's darkness behind the practices of Halsey.
Yeah, it feels like my impression of her, especially after playing Halo 4 and reading the Fall of Reach book and everything as well, is that she does want humanity to succeed. She wants the best for humanity, but she's also very aware that she is the only kind of way that we can get there, so she feels kind of a little bit cocky and like she knows she can get away with it all because we don't really have any other choices or anything.
Right. How could we banish her when she's given us Master Chief, which hasn't happened yet in the series, by the way.
Yeah. Prequels. But yeah, just a super interesting character. And as we close out this cutscene, we move into the next mission called Nightfall. Nightfall is quite an interesting mission in that it almost feels like it's attempting to be a stealth level, although I do personally feel that it's only somewhat competent at this. It's a pitch black mission, so your night vision is pretty much a requirement for the mission, and you spend this mission accompanied by June, who wields a sniper rifle, and you're given one of your own, so you've definitely got the firepower. But my issue with the level is, as soon as you take a shot, it's basically back to business as usual, with every enemy always knowing exactly where you are.
And see, that is the problem with, okay, let's try to introduce a stealth mission with zero stealth implementations. Like, we're crouching, we're being quiet, but no silencer. No silencer. Like, how are you going to have a stealth mission with no way of keeping yourself stealth? Because you're right, as soon as the first shot rings out, it's back to business. But the thing that really resonates with me about this mission is it's kind of the second mission in the game, and the second mission in Combat Evolve is also a night stealthy operation with a sniper rifle using night vision in Halo Combat Evolve.
Oh, you mean the third one, where you're approaching the carrier?
Oh, bollocks. Yep. You know, you knew where I was trying to get to this. So it's an homage back to its like original mission layout, and it was so nostalgic for me when I first went through it. I was like, oh my god, we're doing it again. We're creeping along the rocks, trying to be quiet. But you're right. As soon as that first rings out, and even in Halo Combat Evolved, as soon as that first shot rings out, it's just hell breaks loose.
Yeah, and I'd never actually clicked onto that myself, actually, so I'm glad you reminded me of that. Like, it is like for like the third mission of Combat Evolved, and I wonder, because I was just thinking to myself when you mentioned about suppressors and silencers, like, the pistol in ODST was silenced and the SMG was as well. Why couldn't we have had those here? But I'm wondering if now it was a conscious choice to give you that same experience of you've got a big powerful weapon, you know you can take one guaranteed shot and basically down any one enemy, but after that you're kind of on your own. I wonder if that were intentional.
That's a really good point, because you're right. They had silenced weapons in ODST.
Yeah.
Huh.
Weird.
What gives?
None of this was in any of the show notes, by the way. We've just been rambling about this, so this is cool.
Who needs notes?
Yeah. But yeah, later on in the mission, we do get one area that I find quite interesting, which is where we find the Covenant being absolutely bodied by these humongous ogre-like creatures that have these big tusks on them. And it's a little bit unfortunate because we don't see any more of that in the game. It's just this one particular segment. But it is nice seeing some actual wildlife, because Reach is the first game that has any form of wildlife in it whatsoever. Originally, like in the development of Halo 1, they did want to have like flocks of animals running around and stuff like that, but obviously back in the day that was cut for technical reasons. But it is nice seeing, like, even in the first mission, you've got those bloody mowers that run at you as well.
Mm-hmm. And I really, really wish that they would have done more on the wildlife, because this is Halo Reach. This is Earth, essentially. This is our last stomping ground where we've been hunting and gathering and fishing. But there's hardly any kind of sign of that, which I can understand. It's a shoot 'em up bang bang.
Yeah.
No one's looking at the survival aspect of it. But me being a big old Minecraft nerd, I'm like, where's the animals?
Yeah, Halo David Attenborough edition. And here we see... again, call us up, Microsoft. We're full of ideas.
I mean, come on. Halo Reach 2, let's do it.
But yeah, our overall goal in this mission is to kind of sneak up on a bit of a Covenant staging ground to try and get more understanding and intel on the size of their strike force. And when we do find it, it is less of a strike force and more of an invasion force. The stakes have been raised.
Tip of the Spear is a big, dynamic war zone mission of the game, where the Covenant are aware that we are aware of them, and all hell breaks loose. It starts out on this desert plain, and you're just rolling in with all the forces. You got Hornets behind you, you got Warthogs taking off, and it's just this big, I think it's the biggest force that we've seen in the game so far.
Yeah.
And it's just like how in the olden times, where two enemies would just come running toward each other in a field and just crash just epically, was such a wonderful thing to see. And Kat being at the front while you're driving this Warthog, you're in there in the field with them, and you get to see the perspective of the Spartan, and we're driving in full force, and the bridge goes out in front of us, but Kat thinks that we can still make it, and just jumps it, pins the throttle just pins the throttle, and we wind up crashing in a spectacular fashion. And that is how the game starts out, Tip of the Spear, with this awkward grenade launcher that we've never seen, never used, and it doesn't really give you that well of a prompt on how to use this thing.
Yeah, I don't like the grenade launcher at all.
I mean, once I played around with it in the multiplayer, I was kind of starting to see its practicality of it, but good God, not in the campaign.
Yeah, it's not my favourite weapon by any stretch, especially when it's got this weird, like, electrical looking symbol on it when you fire it, and you're just like, what is this, an electric gun? What does it do?
What am I doing here?
Yeah. But it definitely, this mission starts off strong, I feel, especially with that epic cutscene of everybody riding in. And at this point, we're kind of like taking the fight to the Covenant. We're attacking that large strike force that we saw previously at the end of Nightfall. So these missions like Nightfall and Tip of the Spear just connect straight into one another.
Definitely do meld perfectly.
And I think for this one, our goal is to take down a bunch of anti-aircraft guns so that we can clear the skies a bit and try to strike at them. And we're also trying to destroy a huge pillar that's like emitting this energy field. And the kind of spoiler at the end of the level is once we take down that Covenant pillar, a huge Covenant supercarrier is revealed that was looming above the entire planet.
Yep, and that is when we finally start to realize how outnumbered we are in this game and how the kind of hope starts to dwindle down a little bit.
Yeah, because we definitely need to do something about that cloaked supercarrier. So our next mission is Long Night of Solace, where we start off hiding in a cave as a huge Covenant Scarab tank walks past us, which is pretty scary. And Auntie Dot, our AI advisor, is trying to come up with a plan of how we can deal with that supercarrier. And the only suggestion that she's got is that 60% of the UNSC forces are currently en route to Reach within 48 hours, which is not too rapid of a response, really.
2 days to wait for backup. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, and at the rate that the Covenant are attacking the planet, that's probably going to be a bit too late. So Kat and Carter are trying to come up with a plan, with Carter basically saying that most of the nukes that were available are out of action, so they can't use any nuclear weapons or anything. So Kat comes up with this idea of using a ship's slip space drive to actually destroy the carrier, like set it to detonate, if we can somehow find a way of getting that drive on board the supercarrier. And the only way Kat can think of getting up there is via the, in air quotes, non-existent Sabre program, which just so happens Noble 6, the character you play as, was a test pilot for.
That's when we finally get to realize the gravity of, these are Spartans hiding in a hole. You know what I mean? Like, Spartans are usually out there on the forefront taking the fight to them, but now we're hiding in a hole. And we get to a little backstory on Noble 6. Like, he was actually a special Spartan, a flying Spartan. So it's awesome that they kind of make that into the story, because later on it comes in hand.
Yeah, absolutely. So Carter contacts Holland to basically say, please sir, can we steal a slipspace drive? And surprisingly, you're actually given the go-ahead, which opens up one of what I feel is the most interesting and pivotal missions in the entire game. And we start off by fighting our way along a beachfront to get to the launch facility with waves of Covenant blocking our path. And you mentioned this when we were just chatting about the drop pods on the beach.
Yes, that same kind of ODST hell dropper kind of scenario, where just a metal and I think in Halo 2, correct me if I'm wrong, we do the same kind of thing as we drop in from a pod, and just that sense of familiarity with what the Covenant are doing and what the humans are doing in the same kind of war tactics was just, it blew my mind. It's like, oh, we're all learning from each other in these battles. We took their shields, they took our drop into action kind of tactics with just launching a pod with a soldier in it. So seeing that kind of similarities was very aha moment to me.
Yeah, and it doesn't half shake things up as you're kind of progressing along, and left, right and centre there's just drop pods landing down and elites jumping out to jump into the fray. I think this is one of the most dynamic little battlefield pieces, and you've got these huge camera shaking explosions happening as the Covenant carrier kind of lays fire straight into the facility that you're trying to get to.
Yeah, because for some odd reason they know exactly why we're trying to be there, and like, oh, this is an important building, let's shoot it.
Yeah, big UNS building, that's a target, let's fire.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, once we do make our way to the base, we enter the control room where this metal shielding kind of rises to reveal through the windows this nice saber fighter. It kind of looks like a jet fighter thing, but it's a space jet fighter is the best way I can describe it. But yeah, you and George board this saber, and you actually head into space for the first time in this series, like actual space flight mechanics.
Going from Earth into space, and for them to show that process, like the camera angles of which they did, the music of how it was, because it was a huge moment for the franchise to go, we're not just fighting either in space or on Earth. We are both. We're both now. You were going from Earth into space within one level.
Yeah.
And it was so amazing. So amazing.
Yeah, and it's, moments like this where you can really tell Bungie put their all into this game. They gave us both the familiar level archetypes, like we've spoke about in the past, the ones that harken back to even Halo 1, but they're also prepared to give us completely new experiences, like the ability to fly a freaking spaceship,
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'll say this a lot in this episode, is I just wish they would have kept going.
Yeah.
Because they sent us off with such a great building point, and, bless the hearts of 343.
Yeah, an attempt was made. We try to remain positive on this podcast, just to clarify, but... Yeah, we rendezvous with an orbital space station to help defend it from attack, and to pick up the slip space drive from a UNSC frigate that is actually donating its ability to do a hyperspace jump. It's giving that ability up so that we can put this crazy ass plan into action. And I must say, for a team that's made fantastic first-person shooters, we're actually given a surprisingly competent space fighter experience here. The controls are pretty intuitive, since the saber flies pretty similarly to when you fly a Banshee. And there's even a section where we have to disable a Covenant Corvette's engines, like so many space fighter games before it.
They really did put together such a great dogfighting scenario, and I'm racking my brain. Did we ever get something like that again?
No.
I know, I don't think we had this huge epic, you're in space, the enemy can be coming from any direction, because that's the joys / scariness of doing a space battle, is it's not just on a field. We're a level playing field. They're going to be shooting from one direction, either high ground or low ground. It can come from anywhere. So to have your head on a swivel in space, in Halo, so wonderful. And I just wish they did more of it. Just want more.
Yeah. Halo Space Fighter, hit us up, Microsoft.
Scheiße.
But yeah, once we do make a breach in the Corvette shielding, we board it to open up a shield in the kind of cargo hangar area to allow George to come on board with a Pelican that's carrying the slip space drive. And we head to the command room so that we can set the Corvette up for a refueling run at the supercarrier, which is a bit of a Trojan horse tactic that we're trying here. Good old classic.
It's just a friendly ship coming in for refuel.
Yeah, with a tactical weapon on board. But yeah, unfortunately the mission does start to fall apart here, with the UNSC Savannah, the ship that we've borrowed the drive from, getting destroyed right outside the... I was about to say windows, but Covenant ships don't have windows. the view panel with shielding thing, we can see outside, and the Savannah is getting destroyed by sustained fire from the Corvette. And it's also followed up by another sad turn of events, because it turns out during all of the fighting, the detonator for the slipspace drive has been fried, meaning it'll have to be manually detonated, with someone needing to be left behind.
Distance is closing on this vessel's refueling track with the Covenant supercarrier. 76 seconds to enter point.
So, it's gonna be like that. Well, I got good news and bad news. This bird took some fire and our thruster gimbal is toast, which means the only way off this slag heap is gravity.
And the good news?
That was the good news.
At current velocity, 53 seconds to end point.
Yeah. Bad news is, time is fried. I'm gonna have to fire it manually.
That's a one-way trip.
We will make it sooner or later. Better get going, Six. They're gonna need you down there. Listen, Reach has been good to me. Time has come to return the favor. Don't deny me this. Tell him to make it count.
As George takes you into his hands, lifting you up, carrying you toward the airlock, he tells you, Reach has been good to me. It's time to return the favor. Don't deny me this. And that's when we truly start to understand the scenario, that this will be George's greatest sacrifice, where he's ready to lay down his own life to end this war. And as we're shoved into the airlock, we see the slip space drive detonated by George, destroying the carrier, and mission achieved. Such a heart. Like just talking about it is one of the biggest deaths within the series of it, in whole. You know what I mean? We got to learn who George was, this big old machine of a guy carrying around a minigun, but was also the only one to want to sit down and talk to the civilian and try to calm them down. The only one that addressed Halsey, his mom, is now the one that we're saying goodbye to in the most epic fashion.
Slip space rupture detected.
Gamma station control, reading multiple pings below the orbital defense
Slip
grid.
space rupture detected.
Yeah, we're picking up anomalies too. Are you reading it? Multiple covenant signatures.
Slip space
Is anyone
rupture
listening?
detected.
They're everywhere.
Slip space rupture detected.
The whole damn covenant,
Slip
please.
space rupture detected.
This part just... it gives me chills every time when Antidot notifies you that all of these additional super carriers are just jumping into the system. George has just laid down his life to destroy one of them in that, epic sequence of events, this one-off, we're going to turn the tide of the war. We thought we'd won, and it's not. Just so many more super carriers jump into the system.
It's so gut-wrenching that they do that all in one time. We just got thrown out. We're flying back down to Earth in true Spartan fashion. And then it's just one after another, after another, after another, just keep coming in. It's just... It really does set the tone for what happens next.
Exodus opens up after we've kind of crash landed back on Reach. We've used gravity to descend, which, Master Chief has done multiple times before us, so we know that Spartans can just land on a planet from orbit. But Noble 6 actually gets up and looks at the crash site before setting off to what we can only assume is the nearest settlement, because he's in the middle of nowhere. He's just fallen out of space. And as soon as he breaches the hill, we see a city that is completely besieged by Covenant forces and Covenant ships hovering above. And we see Six actually briefly clutch George's dog tags, which I've always took as a bit of a I might be the last man standing, this is for George. I'm just going to go in there and do whatever I can before he heads into the city.
Yeah. I get that sense too.
And it's really interesting, the start of this mission, because the camera work, I think throughout the game they've done a bit of this, but at this point in particular, you can notice how the camera is kind of set up almost as if it's a documentary with you being the subject. Like, it feels like there's an actual camera guy following you. Six kind of jumps over this balcony, and the camera just leans diagonally to the side to look down and follow you, which is a really cool way of doing it.
Isn't it though? It kind of like it embodies the camera to make it feel like you're there witnessing it.
Yeah.
In a way, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
a human-like perspective.
Yeah, exactly that. It gives you a more grounded human perspective to everything going on. And at this point, you're armed with only a pistol, and you've got no long-range communication, so you can't speak to anybody else on Noble Team. So you're kind of operating entirely independently here. You basically, I'm a Spartan, I can try to help out where I can, so you head into the city trying to help whatever civilians and soldiers of this city, New Alexandria, and I think the primary goal is just to evacuate as many people as possible.
Yeah, evacuate as many people as possible and destroy any Covenant life forms.
Yes, absolutely. But I think for me, like, this mission really highlights the kind of human cost of the cost of life of these battles, these engagements, because we're not exactly trying to fight back with the objective of winning or fighting back the Covenant. Instead, we're just trying to minimise the remaining casualties and loss of life from the Covenant assault, just getting as many civilians and soldiers to safety as possible. And there's a spot at the end of the mission that I really want to highlight where it's actually quite an awful scene. You board a Hornet and you're flying towards some anti-aircraft guns near another beach area, and you can just see these brutes slaughtering civilians as they're trying to flee. And on the radio as well, you hear a panicked captain of one of the evacuation ships, like, he doesn't want to sit around and wait for the anti-aircraft guns, he just wants to take his chance, and that just gets shot down and instantly destroyed with everybody on board it.
Yeah, it truly turns the, for lack of better words, the vibe of the game. We have been on the offensive, pushing back the Covenant, and now we're just trying to survive. We're literally just trying to survive, and with as least casualties as we can, to evacuate the humans the best that we can. But as you're playing through this mission, it is littered with bodies and signs of they didn't make it kind of feeling that kind of looms around the whole entire mission. I mean, as like even what you said there, when the captain's like, I don't want to sit around and wait for these people, which if I can just come in here real quick and say, this happens again in Halo Wars, where you are in charge of trying to evacuate as many people as possible. But in the very beginning of the scene, one of the captains to the ships that is evacuating all the humans does the same thing. He's like, I don't want to wait around for help, and takes off and everybody dies. So it's so funny how they keep tying these events back to one another and keeping it all within the franchise of, everything basically.
Yeah.
It's like, Nightfall, trying to capture Captain Keyes. There's so many similarities within these levels. I love it.
Yeah, and again, with the combination of this story and how it's built up from what's going on to, oh my god, it's the Covenant, to let's do a counterattack, to now let's do whatever we can to minimize casualties. It's a story that feels so grounded and realistic almost. Like, yes, there's silly little space aliens because it's a Halo game, but the actual plot that we are following and the way it's presented is it's literally like an incredibly immersive game, because everything going on from the gameplay to the story just absorbs you into every part that's going on. You feel like Noble 6 as you're playing through this.
100%. I couldn't agree more.
But yeah, this mission really does feel like the Reach is lost moment, and at the end of it, we are able to finally link up via radio to the rest of Noble Team, lighting a flare and informing them of informing the rest of the squad of George's fate.
Oh my god! And that moment, that like you said, how they really do capture the feeling of when Noble Six raises his hand up and fires off the flare, is so iconic. It's that, oh, finally I get to go back with my team, because that entire level you were alone.
Yeah.
You were running off of pure instinct and helping everything around you. But now it's like, okay, we've had you with your crew this entire time. You've watched one of your crewmates die, and now you're alone, and getting back with them feels so good.
Yeah. And then we move on to the actual mission called New Alexandria. New Alexandria is, in air quotes, that mission, the one that every single Halo game has, where you are finally... I mean, we've had a spaceship earlier, but we're now given an air vehicle, a Hornet of our own to pilot around, and we're given a few different objectives that you can complete as well, and it's one of the most open missions in the game. Each individual kind of set piece that you land at and perform an objective at is masterfully designed, with, you know, the actual level layouts and the enemy spawns and stuff. And I think the most interesting thing about this mission is the fact that every time you play this mission, the order of the objectives you get is randomized each run, which makes it incredibly replayable.
Oh, wow. I actually never noticed that. Wow.
Ah, well, you need to play New Alexandria a couple of times then.
Apparently. Oh, darn.
Yeah, it randomizes the order of the objectives, because I remember, like, the first time I played it, you went to that building where there's the guy who's cowering in a corner because of the buggers and stuff like that, and then the time I most recently played it, I went straight to the area where the brutes were, and there's also that hospital area as well, where you've got that spiral kind of ramp leading down with the engineer in the middle.
Oh god.
Yeah. But yeah, there's...
I hated that one.
I don't mind that one. It's the buggers one that annoys me. I hate those bugs.
That's valid.
But yeah, your overall objective is to just save as many squads of soldiers as you can. You will fly around, landing on various buildings, clearing out the Covenant that are inside, as well as destroying Covenant anti-air emplacements to allow Pelicans to land and recover the squads and lead away. Also, did you know there's an Easter egg on this level where there's two, actually. One is you can find some secret buttons hidden around, which will turn the... there's a nightclub area you can go to, and it causes all of the Covenant inside to start a bit of a dance party.
I absolutely... And you know what sucks? I've never done that.
Oh, have you not?
I've never done that Easter egg. No. I've only seen it, and I want to do it so bad.
Yeah, because
this game and their Easter eggs.
I love Halo Easter eggs. They're so good, and some of them are quite well hidden as well. I think the other one I only heard of recently in a YouTube video, but there is actually a way to do a certain sequence of actions that causes you to spawn in a pelican. So you can actually fly a pelican around. It's janky as heck. You can tell it's not designed to do it, but I've seen somebody do that.
That's awesome. I love that.
But yeah, towards the end of this mission, it is where things really do start to hit the fan, because we link up with Noble Team finally in a crumbling wreck of a skyscraper, and Kat splices some communications equipment to provide what she highlights is an unsecured channel to Colonel Holland. And shortly after that, we realise these Covenant carriers are just approaching, getting ready to glass the city. So we basically run as quickly as possible to a nearby evacuation shelter. And I think you know what happens next, don't you?
Yeah. Really, you know, and this death has always been very... It doesn't make sense. It's not canon at all. You know what I mean? We are Spartans with a shield. We've been getting tagged up this entire time, and we have, you know, about 3 shots and your shield goes down. That's how it is. But this one, it's so unfair. And I remember feeling that way of it just, that's not fair. That's not how this should have happened. And especially to this character, such an iconic character. And the way that it happens, it's so abrupt.
Yeah.
It's so just boom, done. There's no I'm wounded and let's have our final conversation. It's just boom.
Yeah, it's that abruptness that gets me every time, because as you're all running along to get to this shelter, Kat is literally midway through a sentence and then just bam, straight through the head. She's shot by a I guess it's a needler rifle if it's a Covenant sniper.
Yeah, and it's not canon to me. I hate to do this, to kind of put this wrench in it, but like, we have energy swords. We have energy shields. And for her just to have taken a hit like that with no prior engagement, I felt so unfair. So unfair.
Yeah, there's a lot of discussion about that particular death online, and I've seen a lot of theories about all of the deaths, to be honest. But I think the point that Bungie were trying to get across is because you were in such a desperate situation that Kat gives you this unsecured channel to Colonel Holland. It meant that the Covenant essentially knew exactly where you were and were kind of lying in wait to try and pick you off, because it's one of the Zealot class elites as well that takes the shot. And it's just so sad how like the entire team just starts point blank firing pistols and rifles into the air to try and get a bit of vengeance. But it ends with you dragging Kat's corpse into the shelter before the glassing beam starts to hit. Our penultimate mission has us returning to the Oni Sword Base with instructions this time to destroy it to prevent any information reaching the Covenant hands. And this goes in line with something that's introduced in like even the very first Halo game, that they've got this, that humanity have got this kind of military doctrine, this called the Cole Protocol, which basically says we don't want the Covenant finding where Earth is, so in the event of Covenant turning up and attacking, we destroy everything, like any records, any databases, any files, anything like that. We absolutely obliterate it because we cannot let the Covenant get their hands on it.
Yeah, it really shows you the gravity of the situation, the urgency that we're needing to take out the Cole Protocol. I mean, to initiate the Cole Protocol, to take out all the data, kind of like scrubbing the internet.
Yeah, because I mean, after all, with what the Covenant are doing to Reach, you can only imagine what they would do if they managed to find Earth. Spoiler alert: Halo 2 exists. But we're given a bit of a plot twist in this level, because once we head to the spot where we're supposed to be placing charges, everybody comments that it doesn't make sense. There's no structural supports or beams. It wouldn't be an effective location to destroy the base. And as we're querying this with Auntie.Dot, the AI, a wall panel slides away to reveal a hidden passage to a tram station where Halsey explains that we are exactly where she needs us.
Looks like they got themselves cornered.
Or we're committed to the position.
I'm going with cornered. There's nothing here. No load-bearing columns either. Sir, if we're supposed to blow this place, this ain't the spot to do it from.
Dot, check your vector.
Vector confirmed, Commander. We are precisely where Oni has directed. Apologies. Coordinates revised. Please confirm?
Revised?
By an AI of unknown origin, whose clearance is well above my own.
Well, it's pointing us a click and a half east and 2,000 feet underground.
I didn't bring my shovel, Commander.
Sir, I say we go AI free on this one. Obviously, these coordinates are junk, and the longer we go chasing them.
What is this, Dot?
Our revised route, Commander.
All right, we came this far. Your new AI friend tell you anything else, Dot? Dot.
She's been expecting you.
That's perfect.
Apologies for the unusual security measures, Commander, but the stakes demand it.
Dr. Halsey, casualty reports have you listed as...
Yes, well, as they say, news of my death has been greatly exaggerated. I only wish the same could be said of the rest of Noble Team.
We all do, ma'am.
It may please you to learn that the data module Noble 2 procured from Visegrad Station contained precisely what my scientist promised. A latchkey discovery. It has unlocked, at last, the secrets of this excavation.
Not sure I understand.
Your orders were a pretext to bring you to me, and have been overridden. You are here, Team Noble, to ensure the delivery of this vital data to a secure location.
Doctor, our orders are to destroy all sensitive material.
Others will handle the demolition.
I'll need to confirm this new directive with command.
Colonel Holland will be briefed. You belong to Oni now. Before you is an alien artifact neither human nor Covenant in origin, advanced beyond our comprehension, until now. Thanks to Noble 2, the decrypting of its data is nearly complete.
Whatever we're doing down here, we better do it quick.
Have your data ready, ma'am. We're coming to you.
The decrypting process is still underway.
I don't think you understand. We're out of time. If it isn't portable when we reach you, it's gonna get buried.
Bury any of it, and you bury mankind's best chance for survival. Commander, you've been wondering what your Spartans died for? They died for this. Please, buy me all the time you can.
We're led to a secret underground facility underneath of Sword Base. I think they say it's like 2 kilometers underneath or something. And we are then tasked with defending Halsey's lab as she prepares something she says is vital to the continuation of the human race. And I've always found this place like really, really interesting because there's this humongous structure in the background that Halsey says is neither human nor Covenant in origin. And nobody says like the word Forerunner or anything at this stage. Maybe it's far too early to give them a name, but I've always been intrigued by like what is that thing in the background? Is it something they've been going inside of? Is it just a building like we see on the Halo rings and stuff? Like what is that weird thing?
I know, and it sucks too because we're there in such an urgency fashion that we can't figure it out. We don't get to figure out the lore of it or anything like that, but the fact that it's so deep into the Reach's surface underneath the core of it all always blew my mind because it's like, how do you get this deep and create something like that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's a big circular like thing as well, and the only similar thing we see is where the Ark docks in Halo 2 and 3 near New Mombasa. Like that was a Forerunner structure that was buried under the ground as well.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But we will never know.
We will never know because we blow it up.
Yeah. At this point, while we're defending Halsey's lab, there's a few defensive turrets dotted around the area that we can activate, and you're given like all of the toys at this section. You've got rocket launchers, you've got DMRs, rifles, even a couple of mongooses if you really want to ride around on those, which is questionable. But you can really approach this defense objective however you'd like. You can either stay near the door and bunker down and try and deal with the enemy as they approach, or head out into the fray and take the fight to them.
I know, which I love the diversity of what you can do. Because the game, like, initially is like, hey, stick here close to the base and you have all this firepower and you'll be fine. Or you can go out there and flank them and just completely get the jump on them because there's so many rocks, so many tight little corridors that lead to either source of their drop points. So it was a very wonderfully designed area, and that's why it made it into the Firefight series.
Yeah. The Firefight variant of that map is definitely one of my favourites. And Like you said there, I think at one point there's some banshees that fly in, and June actually comments and says maybe we can grab one and take the fight to them. And I think you can do that, but I've never managed it myself.
Well, if you keep yourself a little plasma pistol in your hand, I did that all the time.
Oh, true.
Anytime their banshee attacked me, I always had that thing on me.
I never thought of that, using the plasma pistol.
Oh yeah, it's a great way to cheese a lot of legendary levels.
Ah, I'll have to bear that in mind. But yeah, waves of Covenant are dropped off, including some Wraith tanks that are, I must say, are rather ineffective because they don't seem to be shooting at you, they just shoot at the wall.
Yeah.
But it looks cool.
Yeah, and another thing is, how the hell are they getting down there? We are so deep in the core. Is there just
I think the Seraphs drop them off, you know, the big drop ships. I think they probably, like, magnetise to the bottom of the Seraphs and they fly them in and drop them off.
Nope, you're right.
But yeah.
Ignore that part.
But yeah, it's not exactly a last-ditch defence attempt, but we do defend Halsey as she decrypts some data. And once completed, we head inside the facility and meet up with Dr. Halsey and a bit of a familiar face.
What is this stuff?
Knowledge. A birthright from an ancient civilization. This AI is its custodian, and she has chosen you as her couriers.
Chosen? By an AI?
By this AI, yes. Her measure of you carries as much weight as my own, perhaps more. You are to take her to the UNSC shipbreaking yard in Azad. There you'll find a Halcyon-class cruiser waiting to get her off-planet.
I understand.
Do you? Mankind is outmatched. When Reach falls, and it will fall, our annihilation is all but certain. Unless we can glean from this artifact a defense against the Covenant. A game-changer. On the level of the conical bullet in the 19th century, or faster-than-light travel in the 23rd.
And what if we can't?
An apt question, if there were somewhere else to place our hope. There is not. Take it, Lieutenant. She has made her choice. Do you have it?
Yes.
Say the words, please.
I have it. Dr. Halsey, Noble 3 will escort you to Castle Base.
I require no escort, Commander.
June, make sure nothing falls into enemy hands.
I'll do what's necessary, sir. Good luck.
You too, Rifleman. I need a heading, Dot.
At 3 kilometers north, turn right, heading 050.
Which leads to?
The shipbreaking yards in Azad. The only off-planet extraction point left on this continent. Small-scale air attacks have decimated many convoys en route. An armada of Covenant cruisers is hastening to the site as well. UNSC cruiser Pillar of Autumn is awaiting your arrival.
Wouldn't be a noble mission if it were easy.
Any Halo fan is probably smiling a little bit here because we have just met the origins of Cortana, our companion through all of the other mainline Halo games. And it's been handed to us specifically, like Noble 6, to deliver to, drumroll please, the Pillar of Autumn. June actually leaves the squad here to escort Halsey and ensure nothing enters enemy hands, which I've always thought was kind of foreboding, because I think Halsey kind of realizes here that it also means herself. Like, if there's any risk of them being captured and discovered, June is going with her to, pull the trigger, as it were. So, that's always felt somewhat ominous.
Oh, whoa, I didn't even, holy shiza. Oh, goodness gracious.
If you look at Halsey's face when Carter says, make sure nothing enters enemy hands, she is not pleased at all.
Dang. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, can't have her getting captured. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Well, yeah, that leads to things happening, doesn't it? But yeah, at this point, we board a Pelican and head into our actual final mission.
Bam, bam, bam.
Noble Leader, seek immediate medical attention. Noble Leader, please respond. Please respond, Sierra 259. You are alarming me.
Not sure how long she's gonna stay together. Skies are jammed up anyway. Gotta get you off her, Lieutenant.
Sir,
you don't want to hear it. Get the package to the Autumn.
Done.
Not yet, it's not. Emil, go with him. It's a ground game now.
It's been an honor, sir.
Likewise. I'll do what I can to draw their fire. 6. That AI chose you. She made the right choice. On my mark. Mark!
The opening to this mission just gives me chills every time. The actual AI antidote is getting panicked because Noble Leader, aka Carter, isn't responding to her and needs immediate medical attention.
Yeah. It's so weird when you see a AI start to inflict motion onto what they're saying. It creates a whole nother layer.
Yeah, because she's just starting to... I mean, she's probably programmatically looking at it thinking, is the mission going to be completed? But she actually says that he's starting to worry her. And Carter's probably there like, shut the heck up, I'm trying to pilot a Pelican here. But from all of the dialogue in this opening section, we can just kind of tell that this is it. This is everybody's kind of final moment, the final push to achieve something after everything else that has gone on Reach. And I think the music absolutely makes this scene in so many ways. I've probably used the word masterful a couple of times in this episode, but I really can't think of a better word because the music just elevates every single scene. And this final theme, it's similar to the final themes of all the past Halo games, but it's, rather than it being like hopeful or successful or triumphant, it's filled with determination. That's what I get from this music track, just sheer determination. And that's exactly what Carter's giving us, his last determined push to get us towards the Pillar of Autumn as he drops us off on foot and proceeds to provide some air support to us so that we're not getting harassed by Banshees and Seraphs and such.
I mean, if the picture doesn't relay the emotion in this game, then the music will. It does every single time. It's, like you said, masterful, just so well done. How much thought went in to how can we elevate this moment with music, and they just nail it every single time, man.
Yeah, they really do. And like, I'm the kind of person who hears certain music tracks and literally gets chills, and every part of this like invokes some memory of remembering, you know, what happened at that time, what character was speaking at that time, and what events were going on. It's crazy how music can do that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. There's definitely a difference between good music and bad music.
Yeah. But yeah, this is a weird kind of final Halo level, because most of the time the last Halo mission is a bit of a vehicular run where you just hop on a vehicle and ram through with epic music in the background. But this one kind of feels like a bit of a best of hits of Reach almost. It's like you've got vehicle segments, you've got segments where you get off the vehicle and you've got huge battles with other soldiers and squads still, you know, hankering down trying to fight back against the Covenant. We've got some hunter encounters, ... I mean, there's even one quieter bit where you get a cave filled with those bugs again, which is an absolute nightmare on higher difficulties, let me tell you.
Who knew the plasma pistol, if you just put it on a bug, turns into so much more of a different weapon?
It really does, yeah. And you've got that one part where a couple of scarabs land on the battlefield, and I feel like, again, this is harkening back to Halo 3, because you've probably got that instinct of, shit, scarabs have just landed, I know what I need to do here, I need to run around and shoot at the legs and make them collapse and jump on board and blow them up, but you don't. That's not what this mission is about. It's about getting the heck out of there, and you just have to avoid these scarabs as well.
And it really does push the sense of, you've been this machine, this weapon, to just fight everything in front of you. If it's a bad guy in front of you and your reticle goes red, you destroy it. But in that segment where it's just, no, you're outnumbered. Like, you can't, even on easy, the game is designed to have you push and to keep going. And it hits so hard in that one. I mean, because with the crazy outnumbers of two scarabs in front of you, one is a pain in the butt, but two, and then the urgency to hurry is like, obviously you just had your whole entire team is almost gone at this point, so your backup numbers are dwindling, everything is dwindling, you just need to go.
Yeah, and at one point we actually come up against seemingly the end, because upon leaving a cave system, one of those scarabs basically says hello and stares at us, getting ready to fire, and there's nothing really that you can do about it at this moment. But out of nowhere, Carter, still determined and still holding on, sacrifices himself so that you and Emil can reach your destination by crashing the Pelican straight into the side of the scarab, disabling it.
Ah, what a crazy moment that was, because in Carter's voice, he's so calm, he's so collected. It's like, it's such an eerie aspect to think about, to come to terms with your death and to face it head on.
Yeah.
In a non like frantic and, you know, way, but just to, I don't know, man. That one hits hard too. I mean, between him and George.
Yeah, it really does hit hard. But yeah, when we finally reach where the Pillar of Autumn is being, I don't know if it's being repaired or refueled or anything, but it's sat in this dockyard, and we have to clear out a landing zone for Captain Keyes. Yes, that Captain Keyes. For him to come down and retrieve Cortana. And it's at this point where Emil goes off and mans the nearby Mac gun emplacement, and any soldiers that we've got with us, we're kind of just clearing out wave after wave of Covenant troops. Everywhere you look, there is a battle going on, whether you look in the sky where there's all the Seraphs and Banshees, whether it's down where you are, or throughout the fight you've got this kind of rhythmic thumping of Emil firing the Mac gun into the sky. It's just drama everywhere.
Everywhere, complete chaos.
Yeah.
And which is a completely different vibe to how all the other Halos end. All the other Halos end is we are running, go, drive, go, fast, go, move. In this one, it really kind of slows the battle down, and you get to see the ending battle, the big hurrah, instead of running and driving past everything, you are in there in the moment.
Yeah, and it feels like you've got an objective, you've got a goal which you're determined to achieve, but it does feel like a bit of a fight of desperation, I guess. And eventually you manage to clear out most of the Covenant, and Keyes lands down and retrieves Cortana, and he's actually like offering you a place on the Pelican to come with him onto the Autumn. And it's such a wonderful kind of mind trick, I guess, because you as the player are probably there like, yes, get on board, I want to go on the Pillar of Autumn, I want my character to go and find the first Halo ring, because you know where it's going to go, you know where the story leads. But you see this Phantom head to the Mac Cannon, and it drops off a squad of more elite zealots directly on top of Emil, and yeah, he puts up a brave fight, but he's ultimately gone as well, leaving you as the last member of Noble Squad.
And just to really sit on that death, what a heroic way to go out. I mean, we've seen this knife on his shoulder the entire game through, and finally right there at the end we see that thing get put into its full use. I think he takes out like 3 of them before he is eventually taken out, and it shows the epicness of a Spartan, the resilience of a Spartan, the determination that they carry with them. It's crazy. Even outnumbered, outgunned, they still do what needs to be done. They still have hope that their death isn't going to be in vain, that the reason why he's pushing so hard, that humanity will stand once again. And that's always been something that has resonated with me as a person about the whole Halo series, is it gives hope. They always have hope. Even though everything is completely desecrated all around them and there's no way out, they still keep fighting. They don't just put their heads down and just accept the fate. They keep going.
Yeah, and it's rather fitting that your character in the best display of the title Noble, because you are Noble Team, Noble 6, you actually reject the offer of, leaving with Captain Keyes, and you say, I have the gun.
Good to see you, Spartan. Halsey assured me I could count on you.
Not just me, sir.
They'll be remembered. Cruiser, adjusting heading for the Autumn. Noble 4, I need fire on that cruiser or we're not getting out of here. Do you copy?
I have your window, sir.
Bridge, this is the captain. We have the package. Returning to the Autumn, over.
Copy that.
Who's next? I'm ready! How about you?
Lieutenant, get aboard! We gotta get the hell out of here!
Negative. I have the gun. Good luck, sir.
Good luck to you, Spartan.
I feel like you can really kind of feel the respect and potentially a little bit of awe that Keyes has at this moment, sending you off on your final battle. You've rejected the one last opportunity to leave the planet in order to put the success of the mission first, and you basically turn around and fight your way back up to the Mag Cannon to get some well-deserved revenge.
God, I know that sequence of seeing Emil pass at that cannon and then to just run back to that cannon. And I do believe we get to see his body as well.
You do, yeah.
Yep. And so that feeling of seeing your fallen Spartan and then getting in the same cannon that he was yanked from, it's amazing. It's such a cue the heavy metal music. You know what I mean?
Yep. Well, it certainly does. You hop in the Mac cannon and you've essentially got the ultimate power fantasy, because that gun just shreds straight through all of the Seraphs and Banshees that are flying around. And you just see this humongous Covenant cruiser approaching, and its glassing beam is charging up with this red, energy that's about to get fired, intent on, blowing everything up, including the Pillar of Autumn. So you put a round straight through its central point and obliterate it, which clears the sky for the Pillar of Autumn to leave.
In true firework fashion. Just confetti of shrapnel and explosions and goodness.
Ending on a bang.
Literally.
Cortana, all I need to know is, did we lose them?
I think we both know the answer to that. It didn't take long for Reach to fall. Our enemy was ruthless, efficient, but they weren't nearly fast enough. For you had already passed the torch, and because of you, we found Halo, unlocked its secrets, shattered our enemy's resolve. Our victory, your victory, was so close. I wish you could have lived to see it. But you belong to Reach. Your body, your armor, all burned and turned to glass. Everything. Except your courage. That you gave to us. And with it, we can rebuild.
This epilogue at the end of the game hits both a high and an emotionally low note, because we start off by seeing essentially a recreation of that very first cutscene from Halo 1, because, Reach being a prequel means we've set up the events for that game to occur. So we get that scene where the Pillar of Autumn is flying through space and Captain Key says, "Did we lose them, Cortana?" And the camera pans around to the rear of the ship and you see the first Halo ring in the distance. So you've won insofar as you've, succeeded in getting Cortana off the planet, and Master Chief, as it happens, seeing as, he's in the cargo hold of of the Pillar of Autumn. But then it immediately brings you back to Reach with a solemn piano piece of music, and we're given the chapter title, "There'll Be Another Time," and the objective, survive.
It hits so differently. In an ending battle, everyone's gone. The world is destroyed around you. All you see, you're completely encased in this fog of some sort, where it's definitely a circle arena, but everything on the outside is just glassed. It's just gone. And it really sets the tone, man. No one's there for backup. There's fallen soldiers all around you for you to pick up ammo. And you just keep fighting. And you don't know what's the end. Where does it go from here? all you know is survive.
Yeah, and as you fight and fight and fight, you may realise that in the distance there is two mountain peaks, two snowy mountain peaks. There's the smoke and fog settling in on the battlefield, and the more you fight, eventually your visor will crack, and that's the part when you realise this is how my helmet ended up on the floor, because as soon as you inevitably run out of health, you can survive for a while, but you cannot survive. Yeah, you get a cutscene where you basically fight off 6 elite Sangeli zealots or something that all come and charge at you.
Yep, just in true epic fashion, never seeing their face. But as the visor, and honestly, when that visor started to get cracking, my anxiety spiked so hard as a kid. I was like, wait, what's happening? I mean, cue in that meme of the Punisher going, wait. It hits so hard. And as a kid, I really was running from people. I did not want to get hit anymore. it was this massive panic of just doing circles until ultimately, you're right, you take one last hit, he rips off his helmet, and then you get the perspective from what the helmet would see, what we've been looking through this whole entire time. Yeah. And now we see our own character through the eyes of that helmet, just getting just murdered, man. Just, I think it 3 or 4 of them just start wailing on you with energy swords.
And even then, you're still kicking and fighting back. And I think at one point, you hold a pistol with one hand and an assault rifle with the other as well, don't you? You're just firing at as many enemies as possible.
I do believe that does happen. Yeah, I'm like, where was dual wielding? Come on now. But the other tactic of it, of the other kind of scenario of it, of doing that battle, seeing your character through that helmet, and then having a callback to the very first scene of the game of the helmet laying in the field, is what's odd. You don't see a body there. There's no body. There's no armor pieces. So in your brain, when you play it again, you're like, where's the body? Did he really get up and walk away and die somewhere else? You know what I mean? It always has me scratching my head of the what ifs situations, because if you remember, Spartans don't die. They just go missing in action.
That they do. That they absolutely do. And yeah, I mean, the theories of Noble Six hiding in a cave to one side, we are given a rather emotional kind of outro by Dr. Halsey as she narrates over the scene of Reach hundreds of, potentially thousands of years in the future, when eventually the ground has recovered and we see green in the field once again and the helmet is still there. She makes it known that, your sacrifice, while it's not the most screamed about thing in the Halo universe, it was due to that sacrifice that any of the remainder of Halo's story was even possible.
Yeah, always the sacrifice. The Spartans having to make the sacrifice. It's always the butterfly effect, man. Always is.
So whilst the core campaign of Halo Reach is an absolutely immersive experience to escape into, with its cinematic moments, the epic music, the near flawless shooter gameplay, there's a lot of enjoyment and time that you can get out of the game in other avenues as well. I think Halo, you mentioned this earlier, B, but Halo really lends itself towards challenging your abilities as a player, because there's all of these different difficulty levels which do actually drastically change the way the game is played. You mentioned earlier about Legendary taught you that the plasma pistol was your favourite.
Absolutely. I mean, alongside of challenging you, it also allows for the simplicity of you to just hop in and enjoy the game for what it is. I don't wish upon anybody to play this game in Legendary. It's bonkers. But to play it in normal as a cinematic, enjoyable, friendly game is, one avenue in itself. But then again, how you said it allows you to increase the difficulty and really turn things up. And that leads us right into skulls, how it'll just change the game entirely, man.
Yeah, the skulls are a really interesting kind of aspect of Halo games, because they're these modifiers that can change the game in a bunch of different ways, such as like having no radar, enemies using grenades more, which is one of the worst ones. But you've also got the famous Grunt birthday party one, where every headshot on a Grunt causes a satisfying explosion of confetti and a yay, which is always a fun time.
I absolutely love Grunt birthday party. It is my favorite. I use it for one of my alerts on my streaming service. Shout out Twitch TV/BTechnician. It's so that sound is so iconic to me, because I am a huge headshot guy. I need, because in Legendary you need to power up your plasma pistol, drop the shield of the elite, and then immediately follow that up with a headshot to be able to take out this target very quickly and proficiently. So when you've got like 6 grunts lined up and it's just headshot, it's just, I love it. I love it.
It's super, super satisfying. And for those of you who do like things like scores and such, you can also attempt to clear the par time or par score on every level as well, and every difficulty. So, if you do find yourself returning to this game and getting more and more mastery over the gameplay mechanics, you've always got a score you can work towards beating and becoming even better at.
That was something that I went so hard into on Halo 3. That score system, it drove me to just keep replaying the level, get your headshots, get the multi-kills. It was such a good driving force of replayability.
Yeah, and with the Master Chief Collection as well, like the version that you can get on all modern platforms and stuff, spoiler alert, get it on sale, it's like £4 for everything. But you get a bunch of XP, because there's these weekly challenges, like PvE challenges, so you get XP and you get these, I think they're called Spartan points, so you can actually get cosmetics by just doing the normal stuff in the game, getting X amount of headshots and killing X amount of grunts and elites and stuff like that, which is I like stuff like that. It makes me want to play it more.
I absolutely love it. I love it when a game is like, hey, do these objectives to get this armor. I'm so sad that gone are the days of when you load up into a PvP match and you see this guy wearing this crazy armor, you know what he did to get to that armor. Shout out Hayabusa armor. But nowadays, it's just, this guy just had $20 and he bought it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really show the skill level. It's like, it's not a badge of honor anymore. And that was what Halo did so well before it turned weird, was when you looked at someone's armor, you knew what they went through to get that armor.
Yeah, nodding in agreement. I'd definitely stick with the Master Chief Collection. But yeah, speaking of PvP, it sounds like you've actually done a fair bit of PvP yourself then.
Oh, Halo Reach was my first entrance into the PvP, just really nailing down what it's like to fight against another human, because 1, 2, and 3, I never had internet to, face anybody. And if I did have internet, it was dog water internet, just the worst. So by the time I had Halo Reach, internet was more accessible to me, so let's go try out the PvP. I did not realize I would love it as much as I did. It is so good. As decisive or divisive as Bloom and armor abilities were, such a great PvP. I loved it. I got into clans, I got into so many competitions. I think Halo Reach was the first Halo that I 100%ed all the PvP achievements, which is not easy to do.
No, that sounds insane.
It was insane. I put so much time into PvP, which is funny because now that I'm an old man, the only thing that I will return to in PvP is SWAT, which is just a single shot to the head, super fast gameplay, I don't know why. I can't do King of the Hill anymore. I can't do Slayer. I can't do... It's weird. I just want to do SWAT. I just want 4 versus 4 and a headshot. That's all I want.
You do like your headshots.
I do.
Yeah, I must say, like, the only PvP I've ever done in any Halo game was, like, back in the day, sat at a friend's house doing split screen PvP, just having a laugh kind of thing. The competitive kind of PvP multiplayer has always kind of scared me, I guess, because I don't think I'm very good at PvP stuff. But Reach thankfully does have my absolute favourite mode, which is Firefight. Oh, I adore Firefight so much. When people were complaining about Halo 3 ODST, saying, oh, well, it's full price for a game that's just, more of an expansion, you got so much extra time and play out of Firefight mode in that game, and they arguably perfected it in Reach, because I'm pretty sure you could use Forge mode to edit the spawns and the maps and stuff for Firefight mode as well, so you could actually customize your Firefight experience.
Yeah, no, that was... Firefight. Where do I even begin with you? So, back in the day, Firefight had this achievement where if you went all 7 rounds, which each round had 3 segments in it, all 7 rounds, you could get the recon armor for Halo ODST.
Is that how you got it?
So that was one step to get into recon for Halo 3. You can get recon for ODST by doing that one step. But it took 7 hours of gameplay to complete it.
Oh my
And
word.
mind you, it gets harder and harder and harder each time. They keep turning on skulls, things keep happening to get to that point, because it's you've maxed out all the little bars that the rounds can get to. So then they essentially awarded you this piece of equipment. Such a monumental time when I finally got that, and just the feeling of the accomplishment, because it was me and a friend. I did not do that by myself. It was me and a buddy sat down from 8 o'clock in the afternoon to God knows how late in the morning. But we did it, and it felt so good. And then I realized that to get recon armor in Halo 3, that was just one aspect of it.
Oh.
And that's a conversation for another podcast.
Well, hey, but excellent outro. But no, that sounds insane. And when you've got these elements of these games, like Halo in particular, that I do think that's one bit the Master Chief Collection loses a bit of, because essentially everything's more accessible, which is a great thing, don't get me wrong, especially for me. Well, I wouldn't have been doing 7-hour firefight matches because I'm not good enough. But yeah, you hear these stories of, these achievements people got by really learning the game inside and out, like living and breathing Halo. Halo was such a big cultural icon, essentially, at the time. Like, it was such a big thing. And
it was a huge entity in the gaming world. I mean, like you said in the beginning of this episode, we had army recruitment shelters who were displaying this game. They were using this as a tool. And that's crazy that Halo got to be a part of that.
Yeah, for sure. So, before we do close out this episode, is there anything else you would like to add about Halo Reach?
Oh, what can I say about Halo Reach that we haven't already talked about? An absolute masterpiece of a game to take us from, being in Sierra 116 body armor to throwing us into Noble 6. I mean, such a jarring difference, but something we needed at that time. We had to break the monotony of always being this all-powerful Master Chief who never loses, to then be in the boots of Noble and to lose and to play through the loss of it. Like, they literally take you to the absolute ending moments. I mean, instead of just having it be a cutscene where you're manning the big gun and then suddenly a ship blows you up, instead of doing that, they're like, no, let's make this super impactful. And I think that's what Halo Reach did. It was super impactful. It told the story of Halo in a different light. And that's what we needed. I mean, as not only as a franchise, but I think as a community. Because what is a win without a loss? And to really embrace the win is to feel the loss. And that's what Halo Reach did to us. It let us feel the loss so that we can embrace the win and really, what's the word I'm looking for? Just really marinate on the win. I don't even know if that's the right word. I'm getting caught up in my words here, but I think you know what I mean.
I know what you mean, yes.
Hopefully the listeners do too.
I mean, you are a chef, so, you know, the word marinate getting in there is understandable.
I see how that got in there.
But yeah, I mean, for me, Halo Reach has always been the Halo game that lets you be the Spartan. Like, you're playing as Noble 6, and they do have a voice actor, but you barely say anything. You are practically a silent protagonist other than like 2 or 3 voice lines. And it's a game where you can really put you into the shoes of the character you're playing as. Like, you customize the armor, you make them look how you want them to look, and, you know, pick the colors, pick the various armor pieces, and pick the gameplay. Like, you know, what weapons you're going to prioritize and take in with you. It's Master Chief's story is Halo 1, 2 and 3, and, you know, 4 and 5 and onwards, but your story is Halo Reach.
Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Escape into Gaming podcast, and thank you once more for being the very first guest, BTech. I will be putting links to your Twitch and YouTube and Fiverr in the show notes on YouTube and everywhere, so please do check out BTech's content if you are looking for a fun, approachable streamer and content creator, and definitely bear him in mind if you need any voice acting talent.
Thank you so much, man. This has been an absolute dream come true. I was very nervous at the beginning of this episode, but man, just sitting down with you, getting to have a chin wag, talking about games that we're super duper passionate about, man, I love this. I can't wait to do more of this if you'll ever have me again. And
God. Absolutely. You roped in for like 6 more episodes now, mate.
That's a good point. Halo is a series.
Indeed. But yeah, no, thank you for being here. It's been a heck of an experience, and, you know, I was equally as nervous at the start because we've never had a guest on. So you are the first. This is a new experience for me as well. Yippee! But yes, if you do enjoy these episodes, please consider supporting the podcast on Patreon for early access to upcoming episodes and exclusive posts. Your support helps me keep the podcast ad-free, and it pays for the distribution costs to the various podcasting platforms. And if you have played any of the Halo games, please do let both of us know your experiences with the franchise in the comments on YouTube, on the Discord server, or on Patreon itself. As always, I hope you have yourself a cracking weekend, and if you do find yourself escaping into Halo, remember to finish the fight. And for when you head to sleep tonight, I will leave you with BTech's famous outro.
And I hope that you all have yourselves a wonderful night. And as soon as your head hits a pillow, I hope that you are all out like a light.